It is game 2 of a 3-game series between the Royals and the Tigers, following up the Red Sox and the Yankees. Justin Kutcher alongside C.J. Nitkowski. A look at the Royals lineup after a 4-2 loss last night. Alcides Escobar will lead things off and play shortstop. Eric Hosmer will bat second and play first. The DH is Kendrys Morales. In the cleanup spot is the all-star catcher Salvador Perez. Alex Gordon is batting fifth and playing left field. Paulo Orlando in right field will bat sixth. The third baseman is Cheslor Cuthbert batting seventh. Christian Colon gets the start at second, batting eighth. And in center field, batting ninth is Jarrod Dyson. They will face the tall right-hander Mike Pelfrey. And the numbers on Pelfrey for the year: 2-8, a 4.58 ERA. A guy who allows a lot of base runners and relies on the double play. And the first pitch to Escobar is a fastball that's outside for ball one.
How about 95 miles an hour right out of the chute for Mike Pelfrey? Brad Ausmus telling us before the game that they felt like they've seen a little bit of a spike in velocity. He's thrown the ball better recently over his last few starts, so good to see 95 right out of the chute.
Back-to-back 95s, 1 ball, 1 strike. There is Brad Ausmus, third year as the manager of the Tigers. On the outside corner, 1-2.
See the two-seam fastball there right on the grip, starts it outside off the plate, trying to bring it back and catch the corner. The backdoor two-seam fastball there from Mike Pelfrey.
And now the 1-2 pitch. The other way, Cabrera able to smother it. And Pelfrey covers. A good start here defensively for the Tigers. 3-1 on the putout.
Think about Miguel Cabrera. We don't think about his defense necessarily. Of course, we're always talking about the great bat, but great look right here. Perfect toss to Mike Pelfrey, who gets there just in time to cover.
People also forget Miguel Cabrera was playing first base for a long time, then moved over to third base when Prince Fielder came, and then went back to first. Speaking of first, Eric Hosmer, the All-Star Game starter at first base, the All-Star Game MVP. And the first pitch fastball at 95 in there for a strike. 297, 13 home runs, 49 RBIs for Hosmer. And it's been well documented, the gesture that Miguel Cabrera made for Hosmer to Ned Yost, who was the manager of the American League for the All-Star Game. When Hosmer got off to his good start with a home run and a base hit, Miguel Cabrera went to Ned Yost and said, hey, let him hit for the third time. Give him a chance to really get that MVP award.
What a cool moment from one All-Star to another, and a two-time MVP in Miguel Cabrera to give Hosmer that opportunity. Was in the 6th inning of the game. Ned Yost was ready to get Miguel Cabrera in there, but he wanted to see Eric Hosmer get another opportunity, seal the deal on the MVP, which he ultimately did. But a very cool moment from a guy like Miguel Cabrera.
2-1 misses inside. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. On deck, Kendrys Morales, who loves facing these Tigers. A big swing and a miss by Hosmer.
Really good location there by Mike Pelfrey on that fastball, working it away. The 3-1 count. You don't certainly want to make a mistake. Derek Hosmer, as good as he has been, but look at the movement on that pitch. I mentioned it earlier at the velocities we're seeing, 94, 95, but none of it has been straight.
3-2 going the other way. That'll get in for a base hit, and that goes all the way to the wall. Hosmer on his way to second base, and he is in with an opposite field 1-out double. The 19th double of the year for Eric Hosmer.
So you think about going to the well maybe one too many times, and this is almost a repeat of what we saw. This one caught a little bit more of the plate. As you see, James McCann, his glove come right back over the plate just a little bit, but certainly in a 3-1 count, or excuse me, 3-2 count, you want to throw a strike. Eric Hosmer goes the other way, especially against right-handed pitching, as good as anybody in baseball.
And now the switch hitting DH, Kendrys Morales, steps in, the lefty against the right-hander Pelfrey. First pitch, fouls one back, 0-1. Morales On the year, 258, 15 home runs, 47 RBIs, but there you see his season numbers against the Tigers. And since 2015, well, he's got 7 home runs against Detroit, 29 RBIs, 42 hits, 30 runs. All those are first. I mean, this guy has just loved facing Detroit since last year.
You think about a lot of the good righties that have been here in Detroit. It's a good ballpark to hit in for left-handed hitters. Morales, of course, a switch hitter. A little bit of a short porch here. The ball can carry, especially come summertime. You get it up in the air to right field. And certainly Kendrys Morales has been very comfortable in this ballpark against those right-handed pitchers.
2 balls and 1 strike to Morales. Hosmer on at second after the 1-out double. The 2-1. Missing outside, off speed pitch, and now it's 3 balls and 1 strike from Pelfrey. So we saw a 3-1 pitch to Hosmer and a big swing and a miss with Salvador Perez now on deck. And now a 3-1 offering here to Kendrys Morales. And he works a walk, so first and second, 1 out.
Let's take a look at the pitcher profile brought to you by Batman vs. Superman. Dawn of Justice on the digital HD today or Blu-ray on Tuesday. And when we talk about Mike Pelfrey, we're going to talk about the contact over the whiffs. He generates contact, does not generate a lot of strikeouts, and he's got the really good ground ball rate. So the way he gets around the walk that we just saw, and the double is by inducing double plays, has been very good in that regard. And his ground ball rate, 14th best in Major League Baseball.
The all-star catcher for the American League, Salvador Perez, 282, 14 home runs, 42 RBIs. Another guy who enjoys hitting against the Tigers. And the first pitch breaking ball misses outside for ball 1.
And the advantage of having the great movement that Mike Pelfrey has on that 2-seam fastball, the sinker, with the good velocity, is that he can even afford, not that he does it on purpose, but to fall behind in the count. That movement on that fastball can get you out of a lot of jams.
Inside, spins Perez around. Now it's 2 balls and no strikes. CJ, I know how active you are on Twitter, and I believe your son gets offended when people pronounce Salvador's last name incorrectly.
Well, we get caught in between, right? We say Perez sometimes or Perez. He got a little frustrated during the All-Star game. We were listening on radio, and you heard Perez, and then you heard the update guy say Perez, and just out of nowhere, my 8-year-old in the car said, "Why is he not saying his name right? It's Perez." To each his own, I guess.
Outside, now 3 balls and no strikes, and Pelfrey is having some trouble finding the plate. And the guy who's having some trouble making contact with the ball is on deck, and Alex Gordon.
Well, the one thing Mike Pelfrey cannot afford to do is walk hitters. Yes, he's going to let up some hits. He is that contact guy, but the combination of contact and walk, certainly not something he wants to do.
Salvador Perez taken all the way, and he takes a 4-pitch walk, so the bases are now loaded here in the top of the first after a double by Hosmer. Back-to-back walks to Morales and Salvador Perez, and here comes Alex Gordon.
That's not an easy thing to do when you think about Salvador Perez, not known for his plate discipline, just a 4% walk rate. Last year it was 2.4%, just to give you an idea how little he actually walks in the 4-pitch walk against Salvador Perez, especially with a runner in scoring position. A very rare thing to see.
The numbers on Gordon, not the way that he had envisioned this season going. 205, 7 home runs, 14 RBIs. Hosmer at third, Morales at second, Perez at first, but again, with Pelfrey on the mound and 1 out, he's 1 pitch away from getting out of this. Fastball misses outside. And that's, I believe, at least 6 straight balls thrown by Mike Pelfrey.
You see him missing on his arm side. We call it arm side run, which he has that great run, but missing off the plate. So the adjustment has to be made to start that fastball on the plate more so that it's running to the outside corner as opposed to running off the plate.
Back up the middle, base hit. 1 run will score. Morales broke back to second. He'll have to hold up. The bases are loaded. 1-0. Royals jump out on top. RBI single for Gordon, his 15th RBI of the season.
Alex Gordon was not going to wait around, despite the fact that we've seen Mike Pelfrey struggle with his command. He's going to look for that first pitch, kind of get me over fastball. That probably was going to be another ball that was off the plate as we watch Kendrys Morales kind of freeze and make sure that this ball gets into the outfield. But right now, Mike Pelfrey just not feeling and not being able to put the ball where he wants to. And in the case of Alex Gordon, jumping all over that first pitch strike when he saw it right there. Excuse me, second pitch strike.
It was 9 straight balls before that RBI single by Alex Gordon, and 1-0. Royals on top of the Tigers here in the first. Justin Kutcher alongside CJ Nitkowski here on FS1. Not the start that Mike Pelfrey was looking for here. Base is still loaded and just 1 out.
No, absolutely not. And you never want to start a first inning like this, put your team in a hole, especially when you're at home. Denny Duffy, the opposing pitcher, has been pretty good this year. And so now for Mike Pelfrey, has to find a way to get himself out of this inning without any more damage.
Paulo Orlando. He takes the fastball inside for ball 1. Orlando's numbers: .317, a home run, 18 RBIs. Not a big power guy, but a good contact guy, and that's really what this Royals team is all about: contact. Breaking ball fouled away.
That's why they can be one of the tougher offenses to go against, especially when they're fully healthy, which they of course are not right now. No Lorenzo Cain, no Mike Moustakas, but the couple of years that they've had, Game 7 of course in 2014, winning it all last year in 2015, they're just pesky. They put the ball in play, they put pressure on the defense. It's not necessarily, like you said, a lot of power, especially this year, but they play an interesting brand of baseball, almost a little bit of a throwback in the sense that they're a little bit more of a contact team than we're used to seeing these days.
Foul back, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Some different names, some different faces than we're used to seeing for the Royals and for the Tigers. Look, I mean, Cuthbert on deck, Orlando at the plate, Lorenzo Cain on the DL, Mike Moustakas, who you mentioned, out for the year with a torn ACL. So Orlando's getting a chance to play, has been playing very well now for a long time this season. Been hitting the ball so well that really Ned Yost has to get him in the lineup. And then Cheslor Cuthbert in the on-deck circle, filling in for Mike Moustakas. 281, 8 home runs, 28 RBIs. You love those numbers. Up and in, and that hits Orlando, and that will score a run. So a hit by pitch RBI for Paulo Orlando, and it's 2-0. Still 1 out, and the bases are still loaded.
Well, this has been a struggle from the get-go pretty much here for Mike Pelfrey. This is a 2-seam fastball, but look how high that ball ends up finishing. And why? Because he's getting on the side of it. That ball is riding more right to left, left to right, as opposed to getting that good downward sink. And for Mike Pelfrey so far in this game, the release point is off, the movement is off, and obviously the command is very off.
And now here is Cheslor Cuthbert. He takes the first pitch fastball, first strike, in this large crowd. The ovation.
I'm picking up on your sarcasm. I think that's what we're seeing there from this Tiger fan base right now. But there's frustration, especially first inning out of the gate when your starting pitcher is not filling up the zone.
Ground ball right side through the hole. Gordon will be held up at third, so it's just like a merry-go-round right now for this Royals team. An RBI single for Cuthbert. Salvador Perez scores, and already the bullpen phone has been activated.
Well, this is one of those innings in right here for Mike Pelfrey where once he does get the contact, he's hoping this ground ball is going to be right at somebody. A good adjustment there, much better downward action on the 2-seam fastball. We talked about the double plays. He is tied for the lead in Major League Baseball right now. That's what he was hoping he would get. He could not get it in that situation. Cuthbert does a good job of finding that hole on the right side.
Still one out, still bases loaded now for Christian Colon. And the first pitch curveball is in there, first strike. Dustin Mollican begins to throw, and I don't think Brad Ausmus thought this would be the case, to have a pitcher up in the bullpen in the first inning.
And never fun when you're down in that bullpen either, thinking you're just kind of watching the game, getting settled in, and all of a sudden the phone rings with only one out in the top of the first. Think about what your team would have to do. They're trying to obviously keep this game close and trying to get out of this inning, but if they cannot, you think about maybe potentially having to pick up 8+ innings from your bullpen. That'd be very difficult for the Tigers.
A 4-2 victory last night for the Tigers. Trailing 3-0 here at the top of the first. Christian Colon, a high chopper, tough play for Iglesias. He'll get the out at first. An RBI ground out as Gordon scores to make it 4-0. How about the keys to the game sponsored by Ford? I'm guessing one was to get to this first inning with allowing 4 runs to come across.
Yeah, that definitely was not something that we wanted to see, but I'm talking about shuffling the deck, and what we're seeing here from the Kansas City Royals is they're changing that batting order up a little bit. Alcides Escobar is back up in the leadoff spot. Eric Hosmer hitting second just for the second time this year. And for the Tigers, mashing in the middle. Think about the middle of that lineup going up against the left-hander Danny Duffy, Miguel Cabrera, the switch hitter Victor Martinez, and Nick Castellanos, all guys having good, strong years, and throw Cameron Maybin in there as well. It's going to be the middle of that lineup that's going to have to do some damage against Danny Duffy tonight.
Terod Dyson took the first pitch for a strike. Dyson's numbers: 255, no home runs, 9 RBIs. Second and third, 2 outs, 4 runs already in. And now a ground ball to second base. Kinsler makes the play, and that will do it. But 9 men came to the plate in the inning. 4 came across to score. Tigers trail 4-0 before coming up. Ian Kinsler led off last night's game with a home run. He'll face Danny Duffy leading off tonight, and he takes the first pitch fastball down low for ball 1.
Well, for the Tigers now, this becomes about chipping away. Not exactly what you thought you'd be thinking about in the first inning, but when you're down 4, this offense certainly strong enough to put up some runs against Danny Duffy. They've been good all year, and this first inning now becomes about maybe trying to get a little bit of a momentum swing going your way, trying to put at least 1 or 2 runs on the board if you can.
Kinsler once again putting up good numbers. 292, 17 home runs, 53 RBIs. Takes the pitch for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ian Kinsler, year after year, consistently puts up numbers like that.
He's been a good player for this team, and he's 34 years old, and really throughout his career, probably one of the more underappreciated players, I'd say, in Major League Baseball. But you're right, continues to get it done. He's done a really nice job for the Tigers this year.
Rips one down the left field line. Gordon has to let this one go all the way to the wall, and Ian Kinsler will be in with a leadoff double for the Tigers. 18th double of the year for Kinsler. The rest of the lineup for the Tigers. Cameron Maybin follows Kinsler, then Cabrera will bat third. Victor Martinez DH bats cleanup. Castellanos in the 5-hole. Mike Aviles will bat 6th. James McCann bats 7th. Tyler Collins will bat 8th, and rounding out the order is Jose Iglesias.
It's a good way to get it started right there for Ian Kinsler, Kinsler for the Tigers, and instead just trying to scratch 1 or 2 across the board if you can. Not to make excuses, but you do think about on the flip side of that, if you're Danny Duffy, you're sitting in that dugout for a long time. You love, don't get me wrong, you love your team is scoring you some runs, but you're also anxious to get out there and get that first inning, and it gets pushed back a little bit further. You end up sitting in that dugout waiting around, and sometimes your momentum or your flow can get a little bit interrupted when your team puts together a big inning in the first.
Danny Duffy facing Cameron Maybin. Maybin coming back to Detroit, was originally drafted by the Tigers. Now in front of that off-speed pitch, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
And you're sitting there and you're thinking about the good fastball from Danny Duffy, which we'll see in the mid-90s, and he comes back with this great changeup against Cameron Maybin. And it's not always about having perfect location, but it's about the speed differential and selling it with your arm speed. He did an excellent job on that one right there.
Maybin fouls it off into the seats. Danny Duffy joined the rotation on May 15th, and since joining the rotation, he has been really good. 4-1, a 3.11 ERA, a whip of 1.02. A strikeout to walk ratio of 6.08.
And really not bad for an accidental starter, because the plan was not to put Danny Duffy in the rotation. The plan, according to Ned Yost, was that he was going to be a reliever for us this year, and he was doing a really nice job and made some really nice adjustments. He was going to be a key piece to that bullpen, but Chris Young went down, Chris Medlin went down, and all of a sudden there was a pretty big need in that Kansas City Royals rotation. Your general manager, Dayton Moore, believed that he was the guy, and Danny Duffy has answered the bell and has done an excellent job for this team.
1-2, Maybin just reaches out, pokes it to center field. Kinsler rounds third. He's going to come in to score. An RBI single for Maybin, and there are the Tigers chipping away, getting 1 back right away.
Well, we showed it earlier where Danny Duffy threw the really good changeup and ended up fooling Cameron Maybin, but not this time. Second time around, he gets to see it. Same kind of pitch, up a little bit more than he wants it, and it's a little bit off balance for Cameron Maybin, but because the swing is level, because he's able to keep that bat back just enough and get enough barrel on this ball to poke it into center field. Certainly not picturesque, but he'll take the base hit.
I also like the approach, though, with a couple of strikes on him, not trying to do too much, just put the ball in play.
And you don't see that as much in Major League Baseball anymore. A lot of big swings around the league these days.
Now Miguel Cabrera steps in. He takes the pitch on the inside corner for a strike at 95. Cabrera at 293, 18 home runs, 53 RBIs. I said it back in April, and I'll say it again. I believe by the end of this year, you can pencil him in for an average of around 320, 30 to 35 home runs. Timeout called at home plate. Vic Carapazza, the home plate umpire, and I would say about 120 RBIs. Since 2008, this is what Miguel Cabrera has done.
And that's why making that bet that he's going to be there at the end of the year, the numbers will be close to what he's done in his career, is somewhat easy to do because he has been so consistent and so good. One of the best hitters we have seen, easily for me, one of the best of this generation, and a guy that we go in a Hall in Cooperstown Monday.
Hosmer makes the play at first, and they are able to turn the 3-6-3 double play. Hosmer had to lead Alcides Escobar.
Well, Eric Hosmer's got a great glove. We know that about him. This ball was hit right at him. Had to wait a little bit. You see the pause? And sometimes a lesser first baseman would throw that ball away. He had to give Escobar a little bit of time to get there, probably because of where he was playing. Plus, the ball got to him so quickly, but still executes it. And when Miguel Cabrera is running, you know you're going to have plenty of time to turn that double play.
2 outs now for Victor Martinez, the switch hitting DH. Pitch is down low for ball 1. Martinez, 305, 17 home runs, 54 RBIs. Fastball's in there for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You may be wondering, why is Danny Duffy still throwing from the stretch with nobody on? He came back out of the bullpen and has gone into the rotation. He has stayed in the stretch, and whatever works, whatever makes you most consistent. You don't have to pitch from the windup just because you're a starter. Danny Duffy has found himself much more comfortable, much more consistent pitching from the stretch.
Nice breaking ball there. That was like a wiffle ball, like breaking ball.
He's got a good one, and it's a slider that he throws, and you see it right there. Just pulling it down, good location, down and in, catching the corner of the plate. Victor Martinez, certainly a difficult out. You're not going to get away with mistakes. That wasn't one.
1-2, and he strikes out Victor Martinez. The Tigers do get 1 back. An RBI single by Cameron Maybin. We're through 1. It's 4-1 Royals. For the second. I know what you're thinking. Wait, Escobar's up again? Yep.
Well, how often do we say we look at leadoff hitters and say, well, they only lead off really once per game? Well, that's actually not true. Alcides Escobar will get a second opportunity back in the leadoff spot where he has not been for most of July. He had gotten moved down. And Ned Yost went to the theory that has worked for them for the last couple of years. He's not an on-base percentage guy. He hasn't been. One of the worst in baseball, but for some reason, when he's at the top of the lineup, they win. So they put him back at the top as they try to get things turned around here.
It's kind of a twofold issue, right? He's not your typical leadoff guy, but they win when he is a leadoff man. Alex Gordon has been struggling so much, they've moved him down the lineup. Whit Merrifield is getting the night off, so it's like, who's going to lead off and you move Escobar back up to the top.
They just don't have a true leadoff hitter. It's just not one that exists right now on this 25-man roster, and so they mix it up once in a while. Ned Yost will try to push some different buttons and get it done, and as long as the team is winning, it's fine. But when they start to lose, or if they lose, then all of a sudden all the second guessers come out and say, well, why are you having that guy lead off? Of course, look at his on-base percentage. He should not.
3-1 jam shot, shallow center. Maybin a late jump, and that drops in front of him. Off the end of the bat, and that fooled Cameron Maybin. And it's a leadoff single for Alcides Escobar.
And you see Cameron Maybin. Look at him right here in center field, and he gets kind of a bad read on this ball. And you'll see him kind of pause. You see him kind of flat-footed there, takes a step, not quite sure where the ball is, and then he realizes it's so much softer hit than he originally thought it was. He got fooled by the swing with Escobar getting jammed, and you see him saying, I couldn't see it.
Escobar is a threat to go 12 for 16 and stolen bases on the year. Eric Hosmer doubled his first time up, came around to score. He takes the first pitch inside for a ball. But you mentioned Escobar and how he's not your typical leadoff guy. How many typical, prototypical leadoff hitters are there left in baseball today?
Well, it's a different kind of feel. We're not in the 80s anymore, or even in the 90s where maybe you had some smaller, fast guys that could get on base. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, I mentioned it earlier, guys take bigger swings regardless of count, regardless of situation, and we don't see nearly as many spray hitters that we had seen in the past that can also take a walk. And so there are no more Ricky Hendersons for sure, the greatest of all time in the leadoff spot, but we have definitely seen a deficiency across the board at that position or at that part in the lineup. But what has changed is we've seen much better number 2 hole hitters, right? Eric Hosmer is hitting second today. Mike Trout hits second. Josh Donaldson hits second. These are prototypical middle of the lineup hitters. We see a lot more better hitters moving up in the order now more than ever.
2 balls and no strikes here to Hosmer. Pelfrey concerned about Escobar at first.
And what's been interesting to watch too is how teams experimenting with leadoff hitters. Like Joe Mauer at one point was leading off for the Minnesota Twins. Carlos Santana is still leading off. Now he's an on-base guy. He knows how to take a walk. Nobody's taken more walks than him over the last 5 years, but it's forced teams to try different guys, and ideally they're not clogging up the bases, and Joe Mauer and Carlos Santana do exactly that. But you do what you got to do if you don't have a prototypical leadoff hitter.
But it's funny because you just mentioned it, that this team, this Royals team, is kind of a throwback team. 3-0, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Hosmer. So first and second, nobody out here in the second, and for the second straight inning, Pelfrey's in some trouble, and here comes Ian Kinsler in from second to try to calm him down. And once again, up in the bullpen is Mulliken.
And now you start to run into a situation where it's a second time where he's warmed up in the pen. You cannot do this too many times. And so Mike Pelfrey is going to be on a very short leash right here for Mulliken. If for some reason he's able to get out of this inning and he doesn't have to pitch, you might be able to warm him up one more time, and that would be about it. You end up burning him and potentially not using him. So this is a tough spot here for Brad Ausmus. You score your run in the bottom of the first, mentioned it, trying to change that momentum, but it seems like Mike Pelfrey's giving it right back.
3 walks and a hit batter already for Pelfrey. Now Kendrys Morales takes the fastball up high for ball 1. Morales, he walked and scored his first time up. But what I was saying is this Royals team is that throwback team, right? They don't hit a lot of home runs. They steal bases. They have guys who put the ball in play, yet they don't have that typical leadoff hitter, which you would have seen in the 80s and maybe even in the 90s. Change up in there for a strike, 1-1, and the mock cheer once again from the fans here at Comerica Park.
Well, I think overall, when you think about the Royals and how they've won the last couple years, a little bit different. Very average at best starting pitching, right? You figure, we always say you got to win with your pitching. Well, they did, and they have, but it's been with that great bullpen and not necessarily a very good starting rotation or an average starting rotation. And of course, picking up Johnny Cueto at the deadline last year was big for them.
Line drive caught by Iglesias. Both men get back their respective bases. One away here in the second.
Take outs any way that you can get them. A couple of the base hits that we have seen against Mike Pelfrey have not been hit that hard. We saw the one to lead off this inning to dead center, a ground ball to the right side back in the first inning. Somebody squares one up, and you'd like to think that over time it evens out and you'll take that line out. And now maybe a little bit of a breather. This is a really good guy here in Salvador Perez to try to double up if he can locate his two-seam fastball down.
A deep breath here by Pelfrey. Kind of tugged on that fastball, pulled it outside for ball one. Salvador Perez walked and scored his first time up. Fastball on the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. But while that was a strike, it looked like James McCann was setting up inside and had to reach across the plate to make that catch.
Certainly not ideal. You'll take it when you can get it here. Mike Pelfrey obviously struggling to find consistency in that release point, not able to put his fastball where he's wanted it to so far today.
In the air, center field, Maben. He makes this one. 2 away. Well, nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. Weeknights at 6 p.m., 3 p.m. Pacific.
And we absolutely hope that you guys will check that show out every day on FS1, and always followed by MLB Whip Around, where you can catch me and Frank Thomas and Dontrell Willis, Mark Sweeney, Eric Karros once in a while graces us with his presence. With Chris Myers and Kevin Burkhardt, John Paul Morosi will be in next week. Right behind Speak for Yourself is MLB Whip Around.
So really what you're saying, as Gordon swings and misses at the changeup, is that Speak for Yourself is the lead-in to
right.
MLB Whip Around.
And we appreciate that. It's a strong lead-in that we get. MLB Whip Around usually on at 7 o'clock Eastern. Every once in a while, we'll get pushed back a little bit later. But guys are working hard. We're putting on a pretty good show, and we would love for you guys to tune in.
Gordon singled his first time up, and he takes the pitch high and outside for ball one. 50th pitch coming up here for Mike Pelfrey. First and second, 2 outs here in the second. 4-1, Royals on top of the Tigers. Up and in, 2-1. Not the start that Mike Pelfrey was hoping for. 32 pitches in that first inning, and now 18 here in the second. You can see the deep breath.
He's battling right now, and it becomes pitch by pitch as he tries to figure out what's been going on, trying to make that adjustment. And you don't want to look too far ahead, but if he can get himself out of this one, the reality becomes now, can he get through 5? Can he get through a few innings at least after this game has started off pretty poorly for Mike Pelfrey? It becomes about now going as long as you possibly can and keeping your team in this game. But it really is as much of a cliche as it can be. It's pitch by pitch for him right now and trying to get this thing figured out, because if he can get settled in, he can put together a few innings here for the Tigers.
Step off, a look back at Escobar at second. Alcides Escobar led off with that single, a bloop single to center. A late break by Maben, then a walk to Hosmer. A line out by Morales to short, a fly out by Perez to center, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Gordon. Low and inside, and now it's 3-2. The runners will be off with the pitch. There go the runners. The 3-2 is fouled back, and we'll do it again. As a runner, in this situation, it's one of those times where you know you're hoping, please don't have one of those scenarios where you foul off like 6 pitches in a row.
Nobody likes to do those extra sprints. But in the case of Eric Hosmer, knowing if he gets that good jump, that any ball in the gap that he should easily be able to score, even if it ends up just being a long single, he'd have an outside chance getting this great jump here in a full count, 2 outs.
Foul straight back. So that's foul number 2. It's like a false start in a sprint.
And it's something that you can expect from Mike Pelfrey because he doesn't get those swings and misses. He does not have swing and miss stuff. He has contact stuff. So that means also foul balls, not just putting the ball in play, but also a lot of foul balls. And it's not unusual at all to see what's happening right now in this 3-2 count.
Pelfrey coming into this game had walked 38, struck out 46 in 98 1/3 innings. And that's foul ball number 3.
That kind of maybe potentially put the jinx on you right here. Alcides Escobar and Eric Hosmer are probably not too happy with you if they go back and they watch this game and they're saying, who was that guy's name? It's Justin Kutcher. In case you guys are wondering, he was the one that was saying most likely you guys will be getting a few extra sprints in here with Alex Gordon up with the full count, 2 outs.
And he is not on MLB Whip Around weeknights at 7 p.m. on FS1.
Love it.
Another 3-2. Another foul ball. That's number 4. If we get to 6, I'm playing the lottery.
See, Eric Hosmer was giving a look over at Alcides Escobar. This team is known, this is a light team, right? They have a lot of fun. Ned Yost talked about it in the clubhouse. Really good atmosphere. Team chemistry is extremely important to what they do. It's not where you start necessarily, but it's a nice ancillary benefit to have in your clubhouse. And those two guys kind of looking at each other and exchanging some smiles and probably thinking exactly the same thing. I've had enough of this. Somebody put the ball in play.
Three-2 change up, and he checks his swing, and there's ball 4. And that is the 4th walk, and here comes Brad Ausmus. Mike Pelfrey turns his back to his manager, doesn't want to look at him right now. But that will be it for the big right-hander. Not the start that he was hoping for. He goes just an inning and 2/3 and hears it from this crowd. Loaded, And the pitching change, the new pitcher is the right-hander Dustin Mollican, has appeared in 2 games. The ERA of 1.93. And his job right now is to keep this game where it is. Get one more out here in this 2nd inning as he'll face Palo Orlando and keep it a 4-1 ball game, and now try to give this Tigers team some length out of the bullpen. A long-time minor leaguer. And the first pitch gets away from McCann, goes back to the backstop, and coming in to score is Escobar. So just like that, it is now 5-1.
And that's an unfortunate turn of events for the Tigers right here, thinking about bringing in a fresh arm. Can he get us out of this? It's 2 outs. You just need 1 out here to finish off this inning and try to reset, but it's a breaking ball that he gets way under. As you see the elbow drop, we call that sometimes casting, like you're throwing out a fishing line. He just got way under it. That breaking ball actually ended up going up before it went down. Didn't really have much break on it at all. Settle your nerves here for the Tigers. They have got to find a way to get this 3rd out.
A wild pitch. And there's a strike to Orlando, so 1 ball and 1 strike. Orlando was hit by a pitch his first time up with the bases loaded. That gave him an RBI. Hosmer on at 3rd base. Foul back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 94 on the gun for Mollican.
He's got a good arm, and he's got a great story. You talk about perseverance and playing this game. 15th round back in 2003 as an 18-year-old. Dustin Mollican started his career, played a little bit in Japan, and finally gets an opportunity at 31 years old in 2016. 13 minor league seasons later to pitch in the big leagues. That's incredible perseverance.
Think about it. Here he is now out of Saskatchewan. Big right-hander, 6'4", 230 pounds. To persevere that long, to make it 31 years old, you can still have a nice career.
One thing about too, when you're going through that, there are so many moments where you start asking yourself, should I move on? It's not happening. You start getting into your mid-20s, your upper 20s, especially for a guy who came out of high school and wondering, should I start something else? Should I do something else in my life? And what a rewarding opportunity it was for him to get to the big leagues this year.
Able to stab that comebacker, and he gets out of the inning, but the wild pitch allows a run to score. We head to the bottom half of the 2nd. It's 5-1 Kansas City. Bottom half of the 2nd, Castellanos, Aviles, McCann to face Danny Duffy. 5-1 Royals leading the Tigers. And the first pitch fastball is outside to Nick Castellanos. 299, 17 home runs, 51 RBIs. The third baseman for these Tigers. Fights one off foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. You look at Castellanos' numbers. One of 4 players with similar numbers. Ian Kinsler, 292, 17 home runs, 53 RBIs. Cabrera, 293, 1853. Victor Martinez, 305, 1754. Castellanos, 299, 1751. They're almost identical.
And maybe Castellanos, the biggest surprise of the group, had that opportunity in 2014, 2015 to get regular playing time, to be the everyday third baseman. Really kind of struggled, hit around 255, 259 one year. The on base sat there around 300. And this year it has been a huge improvement for him. And I thought going into the season it was a pretty important one for him. Not to say that he was at any kind of crossroads, but I think for the Tigers, they wanted to see some incremental improvement to make sure that he was the third baseman they thought he could be, both offensively and defensively, and he's gotten it done.
Ground ball to third base. Cuthbert, long throw across, and there's one away here in the second.
And you go through, I think, those times in your career, you get that experience, which first of all, it's very difficult to do, to get to the big leagues and get in the lineup every day. The Tigers gave him that opportunity, and here he is now getting it done. And I asked Brad Ausmus about Nick Castellanos before the game. He said they always believed the hit tool was going to be there. They felt like the offense was going to come. They were not concerned about that. What they're most pleased with is the improvements that he has made on defense. That has been extremely important.
Now Mike Aviles steps in, playing right field tonight. 209, a home run, 6 RBIs. A utility guy for the Tigers. Fouls one back this way. I'm happy you at least put your hands out this time.
Hands up. It's taken me a while. It's my 4th year now as an analyst and working some games. In the first couple of years, a lot of flinching going on. Didn't want to embarrass myself. I was pretty nervous, but now a little bit more heads up, and really it becomes about protecting your screens. That's the bigger thing. Protecting the laptop and the iPad.
Yeah,
could not do this on my own
forget about
brain.
the actual monitors that Fox pays for. It's the ones that you actually pay for.
Those aren't on my wallet. Yeah.
2 balls and 1 strike here to Aviles. He takes a strike. 2-2. Perez flashes the signs for Duffy. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
In the inning before, we saw Danny Duffy finish off Victor Martinez, hitting right-handed with a really, really good change. We talked about the fastball. You mentioned the slider earlier that he threw so well. He finished off Vimar with a pretty incredible changeup.
Another foul ball behind home plate. This will reach the seats. See, that's one, if I have a glove right there, I make the catch. Without a glove, a little more hesitant.
Yeah, but I see an adult there near a young girl. You better get your hands up, dude, if there's some kids around, or if you're with your lady friend or whatever it may be. You got some protection to do if you're the man of the group there. So don't just say you're going to pull your hands away because you don't want to hurt your fingernails. I know you probably just got a manicure. Somebody needs to catch that ball.
Broken back, ground ball to third. Cuthbert fields a high hop, throws across, 2 away.
Now, the hat catch may be one of the most difficult things to do as a fan. It's floppy, it's inconsistent, and he actually wasn't even close to it anyway, even if his hand was near there. But again, you can't see it right there. Was a little girl who ended up with the ball right behind him. Not part of his group, but still part of your responsibility to make sure you're protecting the people around you.
I didn't know there was a fan code for foul balls, but I'm learning things here.
It's unwritten. Like a lot of the rules in baseball, it is an unwritten rule, but you should know that, Justin, that you should try to catch the ball just in case. The people around you may not have the same advantage, although that 11-year-old girl might have been slightly taller than you, so maybe she would help you. Maybe she could protect you in that situation.
No balls and 1 strike here to James McCann. 2 outs, bottom half of the second. Danny Duffy looking for a 1-2-3 second. And he's ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Duffy was staked to a 4-run lead, with his team getting 4 runs in the top half of the first. The Tigers got 1 back in the bottom half of the inning, and the Royals got that 1 run back at the top half of the second. The 0-2 to McCann, and he strikes out McCann for his second strikeout of the game. And a 1-2-3 here for Duffy. We're through 2 in Detroit, and it's 5-1 Royals. Top of the third. Royals 5, Tigers 1. Cheslor Cuthbert, Christian Colon, Gerard Dyson, bottom third of the order to face the right-hander Dustin Mollican, who came in relief of Mike Pelfrey, who went an inning and 2/3. Cuthbert with the RBI single to right field, his first time up. Breaking ball didn't break there for Mollican.
When you throw a guy into a situation like Cuthbert has been thrown into, where he has to take over at third base because Mike Moustakas is out, you're not quite sure what you're going to get. Now, the Royals always believed that he could play defense. They weren't too concerned, but they weren't quite sure what they were going to get offensively, and he has exceeded their expectations. A lot of people thought the Royals needed to go out and get somebody to play third base if they wanted to contend this year, but that has proved not to be the case because of the great job that Cheslor Cuthbert has done.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Cuthbert. Think about what Cuthbert's done, what Whit Merrifield has done. Paolo Orlando up high, 2-2.
When you're running the player development of an organization and an opportunity like this comes up where so many guys from within have to fill in, and then they do a great job, it's just an absolute great moment for them. All the hard work and identifying and scouts and everything that goes into it. Makes you feel really good when you see those guys get the results that they have been getting. And Cuthbert did not like that pitch, and very comfortable there. And as we talk about the issues that they've had, and we see who's on the disabled list, Mike Moustakas, of course, out for the year. Tim Collins, a left-handed reliever. Jason Vargas, Mike Minor. A lot of starting pitchers there. Lorenzo Cain should be back here sooner than later. We saw him working out before the game. It looked like he was getting pretty close. But starting pitching is an issue. The Royals need to go out and add somebody if they want to contend this year. They've already talked about it, trying to find that fifth starter in a very, very thin pitching market. Right? Last year, Johnny Cueto, David Price, Cole Hamels all moved at the deadline, which is August 1st this year. Those names aren't out there. So now you have to get creative and try to find somebody to help you out. And right now, for the Royals, they're in that situation.
Fastball in the outside corner, 1-1 strike. You mentioned Lorenzo Cain and how he was running earlier. Ned Yost thinks that he could be doing a rehab assignment next week. And so he is getting there, and as far as on his way back. Slider is low and outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. But you know, you mentioned a fifth starter, and the fifth starter is to get you in that playoff race. But come playoff time, that fifth starter doesn't exist.
He doesn't, and it's not necessarily to say that it could be the fifth starter. They could do maybe better than what they have at the back end of the rotation right now. They also need to be better from within. Edison Volquez needs to be better for them, I think, to contend this year and have a legitimate shot. Yordano Ventura needs to be better. He needs to be the guy that they invested in and believe that he could be. He's shown it at times, but it's been inconsistent. So it's also the guys that are already here that have to be a little bit better. Danny Duffy has been a huge blessing for this team. You think about where they might be without him right now and what he has done, as we highlighted earlier, since he has been in the rotation. It has been huge for them what he's done in those 11 starts. So it's about some guys being a little bit better, but also most likely adding from the outside.
2-2 is low and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Colon, who had the RBI ground out his first time up.
I didn't mention Ian Kennedy, of course, which was their big offseason acquisition, who got off to a pretty good start, has slowed down since, but they wanted him to be a middle of the rotation guy, and that's kind of how he has been. He goes back again to those other guys stepping up at the top of the rotation.
3-2 pitch misses, ball 4. That's the first walk issued by Mollican. The 5th walk issued by Tigers pitchers, and we're just through 2 1/3 innings. Pitching coach for the Tigers, Rich Doobie. No pitching coach likes it when his staff has issued this many walks in 9 innings, let alone in 2 1/3. And here is Gerard Dyson, who grounded out to second base his first time up. In the air, left field. Tyler Collins over by the line. He will make the catch, and back to first base goes Colon.
Think about, too, going back to Cuthbert's at bat and getting called out on strikes, a pitch that he kind of disputed and maybe could have been a walk ultimately for him. But good job by Mollican bouncing back, getting that first pitch out. But again, it becomes about getting that first 0 on the board. The Tigers have not been able to do that so far. Try to get some momentum shift. It becomes important as we flip the lineup over for the 3rd time in just the 3rd inning, trying to get that first donut on the board.
Escobar 1 for 2, a single, a run scored his last time up, and a ground out to first his first time up. Snap throw back to first base, and Christian Colon dives back safely.
Good quick throw here by McCann as he backhands that ball. A lot of times you're going to be able to get a runner leaning in that situation, thinking that ball might be in the dirt. Great job by Colon sliding to the outside part of the bag. If he slides in to the front part of that bag, there's a good chance that he's going to be out. So an excellent dive back.
Christian Colon, a former first-round pick for these Royals out of Cal State Fullerton. Miguel Cabrera having some fun over there at first base with Colon. That's what I love about Miguel Cabrera. The guy is just a big kid. He loves playing the game of baseball. He plays it like he's a kid playing this game.
Sometimes playing Major League Baseball can rob you of that joy a little bit because it starts to become a job and there's a lot of stress that's involved in trying to stay in the big leagues, perform at the big league level. All eyes are on you. Your failure is out there for the entire world to see, and so a lot of criticism comes along with playing this game for a living. But Miguel Cabrera doesn't seem to, ever deal with any of it. Now, he's been great, so that certainly helps a little bit, but it seems like this game never gets to him, and we never see him stressed on the field. Win or lose, slump or on a hot streak, he's always the same guy, always smiling. which of course always makes him a great teammate as well.
I'm always amazed when he's at the plate and a pitcher makes a great pitch and maybe strikes him out, he'll tip his cap.
Which I never liked as a pitcher, to be quite honest with you. Jose Canseco did that to me one time, and you start to wonder if they're messing with you a little bit. He actually did it to me in this ballpark, and you're like, why did he just do that, guys? He's trying to trick me into like throwing that pitch again because he feels like he actually could have got it, but he wants me to think it was great and he couldn't hit it. They start to play those mind games with you. Manny Ramirez did that as well. A lot of mind games from some great hitters. Part of what makes them great, not just the talent, but understanding the mental part and then picking on young pitchers as well.
CJ, maybe you should have been more confident and not be thinking about that stuff and just say, you know what, it was a good pitch. Thanks for appreciating it.
Yeah, it was pretty easy to say from the booth, Justin, I'll tell you. Most of when you're actually out there trying to get those guys out. Game looks really easy from here.
On the inside corner, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here, top of the 3rd. And Cabrera will now back up and play behind the runner Colon at first base. And there is McCann saying, hey, he's not holding him on. There goes Colon. The 3-2 misses low and outside. The second walk of the inning issued by Mollican. Play ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. 2 outs, first and second, and the dangerous Eric Hosmer at the plate. A double, a walk, a run scored. That average close to 300 at 299. Fastball is low and inside for ball 1. Speaking with Eric Hosmer about having fun, played in his first All-Star game, won the All-Star game MVP on Tuesday night in San Diego. I asked him, I said, was there ever a time where you looked around and you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm playing in the All-Star game? This is amazing. He said, honestly, when I hit the home run, I'm rounding the bases, and I had to do my best not to smile because I couldn't believe I just hit a home run in the All-Star game. Couldn't hold up, throw back to second behind Colon, and he is back in safely.
You see now that's 2 back picks on Colon. So the scouting report here for the Detroit Tigers is probably there's an opportunity to catch him sleeping on the bag. On the base pass, we saw the throw the first, and the back pick there to second base wasn't even close, but I think they like maybe getting in his head just a little bit or feel like they may be able to catch him sleeping.
2 balls, 1 strike here to Hosmer. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. Already 2 walks in the inning for Dustin Mollican. The Tigers pitching tonight. 6 walks, 1 hit batter. It's not exactly conducive to winning. And they're down right now 5-1, top of the 3rd inning. Hosmer in the air, center field. Cameron Maben is over. He's there to make the catch, and that'll do it. So the Tigers do put up a 0. 2 men left on base for the Royals. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd. 5-1 KC. 8-9-1, Tyler Collins, Jose Iglesias, Ian Kinsler to face Duffy. First pitch swinging, Collins lifts one to left field. And the best left fielder in the game, Alex Gordon, is there for the catch. One away now for Jose Iglesias.
It's incredible to think Jose Iglesias getting his first at-bat of this game. Eric Hosmer, Alcides Escobar, 3 plate appearances each already before Iglesias ever gets to the plate.
Iglesias on the season, 254, 3 home runs, 20 RBIs. And the fastball is outside for ball 1. You know, you mentioned Danny Duffy before. Now, the plan was to keep him in the bullpen for the Royals, but because of injuries, they had to move him to the rotation. And yet he has stayed pitching from the stretch. And he has been a better pitcher since coming out of the bullpen to becoming a starter once again. And Ned Yost said, look, he simplified his mechanics. He's kept the aggressive mentality. It kind of reminds me of Phil Hughes. When Hughes was a starter, went to the bullpen, then went back to being a starter, he used that fastball, that cutter, a lot more and would attack hitters.
Sometimes it's not such a terrible thing to go into the bullpen. Most starters want to be, of course, starters, but looking at what Danny Duffy has done since he's gone into that rotation back on May 15th, he's been excellent. But you mentioned the mentality, and he's talked about it, and we've seen it. A lot of times starters think they have to pace themselves as they're trying to figure it out at the big league level. You go into the bullpen, you're not pacing yourself at all. You're coming out and you're throwing it as hard as you can for as long as you can. He's now taken that mentality into the rotation.
That hit Iglesias and then got Salvador Perez on the ricochet.
See this fastball in right here. Catches Iglesias, looks like elbow, forearm, and then ends up catching Salvador Perez on the shoulder, and even the umpire a little bit. Nothing you can do to plan for that. You're not going to be able to protect yourself from that ricochet, but Salvador Perez appears to be okay.
Everyone shaking it off. So a base runner here for the Tigers with 1 out in the 3rd, and Ian Kinsler, who doubled what seems like an eternity ago to lead off the game for the Tigers, came around to score. He hits for the 2nd time. He takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Breaking ball. No balls and 2 strikes to Kinsler. Numbers against the lefties. Some of the guys in this lineup for the Tigers love facing southpaws. He's one of them.
And surprisingly that we don't see Miguel Cabrera's name up there this year, where the splits have been not what we're used to seeing, quite opposite of what these guys are doing in Maven, Kinsler, and Martinez. Just a 200 batting average against for Miguel Cabrera. You think about the swing that he has, using the whole field more often than not. Hitters like that crush left-handed pitchers, especially righties. Just has not been the case so far for Miguel Cabrera this year. But I don't think that lasts. You talked about numbers being there at the end of the year. That left-handed batting average against will absolutely go up, be a lot higher when this thing's all said and done.
Kinsler in the air to left field. Gordon back at the wall. Gone. Ian Kinsler with his 2nd home run in as many nights for the Tigers. And he makes it a 5-3 ball game.
Well, right on cue, talking about the great batting average against left-handers for Ian Kinsler this year, and it's been 2 at-bats, and it's been 2 strong at-bats. It's a changeup as you see Danny Duffy try to turn that pitch over. He wants that thing on the outside corner, maybe falling off the plate, but instead it sits right in the middle of the plate. You see that line there. There was a time when this ballpark opened in 2000. I was a member of this Detroit Tiger team. That's a flyout back in the day, but it is a home run now with the new adjustments. I say new, it's been a while since they've changed things here at Comerica Park.
first pitch strike to Cameron Maybin. But Ian Kinsler is doing his best to keep the Tigers in this game. Had the double leading off. Scored the run in the first, and now a 2-run shot here in the third. And Cameron Maybin, line drive to left, but there is Gordon. And there are 2 away here in the third. You know, you look at Ian Kinsler, and we said how he has been underrated, underappreciated, and you wonder why. Well, he plays second base. He's played his entire career in the American League, Texas, and now Detroit. You think about the other second baseman during his time in the American League. Well, Robinson Cano, Dustin Pedroia, those are a couple of names. Now Jose Altuve.
It's a deep position, and you mentioned doing it for the Texas Rangers probably doesn't help his cause as much nationally with all those years, but now here in Detroit. But he's just been one of those steady players, and it happens every once in a while. You get a guy who's steady, does his job, and does it well, but maybe does not get the national recognition that he deserves. Ian Kinsler is absolutely one of those guys.
No balls, 1 strike here to Cabrera. Hit into a 3-6-3 double play his first time up. Takes the breaking ball down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two balls and a strike to Cabrera. Danny Duffy went 6 1/3 in his last start, July 7th against Seattle, a no decision. Cabrera fights it off foul, 2-2.
You mentioned those splits earlier and the struggles that Miguel Cabrera has had against left-handers this year. In his career, he's a .313 hitter against lefties, which is not a surprise. Actually, slightly higher against righties, but the OPS .975 over his entire career. That's a huge number.
And he chases the fastball, goes down swinging to end the inning. But Duffy has not been able to retire Ian Kinsler. A double in the first, a 2-run shot here in the third. And it is now a 5-3 ball game. Good ball game. 2 for 2, a double, home run, 2 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. And Kendrys Morales leads things off against Dustin Mulligan. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Morales 0 for 1, a walk, a run scored, and a line out to shortstop. Top of the fourth inning from Comerica Park. Justin Kutcher alongside CJ Nitkowski here on FS1. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes to Morales. High and outside, 1-2. You think about Kendrys Morales. After the 2014 World Series, the Royals let Billy Butler go, the longtime Royal. He went off and signed with Oakland. And the Royals signed this guy to be their everyday DH. Worked out pretty well for him.
It did. I think a lot of people were disappointed to see Billy Butler go. He was a fan favorite. Was an important part of what they did getting the organization turned around all those years of rebuilding and then starting to win. He played a pretty big role, but after what we've seen is what happened with him and going off to the Oakland A's and things slowing down a little bit, it certainly appears that the Royals made the right decision.
Stays 2 balls and 2 strikes to Morales. The shift is on for the switch hitter. Fouls it off again.
We've seen a couple of fastballs here where McCann and Malakin are trying to finish off Kendrys Morales up in the zone, trying to get him to chase. He took the first one and finished off the plate. That time he's able to foul it off. And when you change eye level like that, that gives you the opportunity, if you want to try to throw the breaking ball down and in.
Another one fought off foul at 94. There's a breaking ball, and there's a strikeout.
Great execution right there all the way around by Dustin Malakin. Mentioned the fastballs earlier, which opens up the zone below to get the chase pitch, and here it is, the breaking ball. Not a lot of room in there to throw it down and in, back foot breaking ball, but really good execution to get that strikeout against Morales.
That's the second strikeout for Dustin Malakin since he's come on in relief, and now Salvador Perez steps in with 1 out here in the 4th. Perez walked, scored a run, and flew out to center. And now he lines one to right center field. Salvador Perez, he's going to head to second. Maybin plays it off the wall, and Salvador Perez is in with a 1-out double. The 19th double of the year for Salvador Perez.
Well, for about 95% of hitters in Major League Baseball, that is triples alley. But for Salvador Perez, as he gets his fastball right down the middle, squares it up, does a really nice job hitting the ball the other way, not trying to do too much, stretching that triple into a double and going the other way. But that's one of the unique parts of this ballpark. The ball gets in there a lot of times. If it rolls to the wall, more often than not, that is a triple.
Curtis Granderson, I can't even remember how many triples he had hitting them to that part of the ballpark.
And a lot of home runs get lost there as well on high fly balls because there's a lot of room out there in that gap.
Now Alex Gordon takes one low and inside. Cameron Maybin playing center field here for the Tigers. 1 ball, no strikes. Maybin, a first-round pick of the Tigers. Alex Gordon, a first-round pick of the Royals. Part of the homegrown talent for Kansas City. Two balls and no strikes here to Gordon. RBI single back in the first, walked in the second. Fastball in the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. This Royals team, under the leadership of Dayton Moore, they've built this team over a long period. Dayton Moore, Ned Yost, the two of them working together. Ned Yost on the field, Dayton Moore as the GM in the front office, building this team from the ground up. Pulled, caught at first base by Cabrera for the out. And even Salvador Perez gives him a nice little ovation, as do the fans here at Comerica.
It wasn't quite full extension here for Miguel Cabrera, but a nice play nonetheless. A little catch and dive as opposed to maybe laying out and diving, but you see Salvador Perez. That's his teammate from a couple of days ago in the All-Star game. I think it kind of shows you the way the game has changed as well. That is not something you would have seen 15, 20, 30 years ago, where guys were clapping for each other in the middle of the game, in the middle of a divisional race. But get a little bit more of that now, I think, in Major League Baseball, a little more fraternizing and guys knowing each other, and of course the All-Star game fresh in their minds. A little bit of recognition for a job well done from Salvador Perez towards Miguel Cabrera.
2 outs now for Paulo Orlando. Hit by a pitch back in the first, a ground out his last time up, and he grounds one a second here. Down to a knee goes Kinsler, and that'll do it here in the fourth. No runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on. We hit the bottom half of the fourth here in Detroit. 5-3 Royals. Victor Martinez will lead things off here in the fourth against Danny Duffy, with the Tigers down by 2, 5-3. 4, 5, 6 in the order. Martinez, Castellanos, Aviles against Duffy. And the first pitch breaking balls in their first strike. Martinez struck out his first time up, one of 3 strikeouts in the game for Duffy. Dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Striking out Victor Martinez is no easy feat. I mentioned it. We saw the slider and then the changeup combination to finish him off. A guy that strikes out it's about 14% of the time, but there were some years where he was putting up single digits. It was so near impossible to try to strike Victor Martinez out.
Foul into the seats, first base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Martinez, and it seems like every time Martinez comes up and he just hit himself in the head with his bat and startled himself, but it seems like every time he comes up the count gets to 2 strikes. And look at this. Wow. That's twice he has struck out in his 2 at-bats, and it's time for our first game break of this game. Let's check in for the first time with Chris Myers. Chris, thank you very much. Bottom half of the fourth, Nick Castellanos with 1 out to face Danny Duffy. 5-3, Royals on top of the Tigers. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Last night it was a 4-2 victory for the Tigers. Castellanos takes the breaking ball for ball 1. In the AL Central, Cleveland at 53-36, a 6.5 game lead over the Tigers. 8 games over the White Sox and the Royals. But CJ, I wonder if you're in agreement with me. It seems like this is a strange year in baseball, where there is no truly dominant team. Despite the records that we saw, or the start that the Cubs got off to, or what the Rangers have done, it seems like that each team has flaws, and significant flaws.
I think everyone thought the Cubs were going to be that juggernaut in the American League. We don't have that team this year, which is going to make the postseason very interesting. It's going to make these divisional races very interesting as well. Right now, the Cleveland Indians have held strong in this division in the Central, but the Tigers have the lineup to be able to get themselves back in this thing and make a run at those Cleveland Indians. Of course, the Kansas City Royals have the pedigree in what they've done over the last couple of years, and the great bullpen as well. The Rangers looked like they were about to be that team, and then they lost Yu Darvish, Kobe Lewis, and Derek Collin. And when you lose 3/5 of your rotation, it's going to be pretty difficult to keep the pace, and that is exactly what has happened down in Texas. So you're absolutely right. It is an interesting year. Postseason is going to be really good, but there is no one team that you're looking at and saying that they cannot be beaten. Everybody has their holes, which makes these next couple of weeks leading up to the deadline very interesting.
Well, that brings up the next point, right? Because all of a sudden these next couple of weeks become so big. And what happens, to me, the team to watch is the Yankees, because they have the chips that everybody wants. That back end of the bullpen can make or break the postseason for a bunch of different teams.
And there's a little bit of dispute right now going on in New York, it sounds like, between their general manager and Brian Cashman, and what's going on above him and the ownership group saying we're not ready to sell, and Brian Cashman saying we're probably about ready to sell. Aroldis Chapman is one of those guys. Carlos Beltran, for me, both of those guys should be on the move. They're both free agents next year. It really starts to become more about, would you move Andrew Miller? Andrew Miller has 2 more years of control. He is one of the most dominating relief pitchers in all of baseball, and because he has the 2 plus this one, you get him for 3 playoff runs. He brings an incredible amount of value in a trade. The Cubs would like to have him. The Giants would like to have him. I mean, there's really not a team in baseball that's contending that would not like to have Andrew Miller. He is a difference maker.
But if you go that route and you trade Miller, do you then go ahead and trade Betances as well?
I don't trade all 3 of them, knowing that Aroldis Chapman is not going to be back. If I dip into my guys that I have control over, which is Betances and Miller, I might consider trading one of them. I can't trade both of those guys.
2 balls and 2 strikes here to Castellanos. A look at the standings in the AL East. Baltimore with a 1.5 lead over Boston. Toronto is 3.5 back.
How about that record right there, though? The Yankees 2 games under 500. First time since 1995 that they have been under 500 after the All-Star break. It is that kind of time right now for the New York Yankees, and fans aren't enjoying it, but I think their smart fans understand it, and they understand that this team is most likely going to sell some pieces off at the deadline, and I think they get it. Brian Cashman has been trying to get this team younger. He's been working on it. Didi Gregorius, Starlin Castro, they're getting there. Greg Bird will be back next year and be an impact guy, and as they start to shed contracts like CC Sabathia, Mark Teixeira, Alex Rodriguez, at some point they're going to start to have some money to spend again as well, but they want that combination of young and some freed up money, and that's how they become contenders again.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Castellanos. Perez asking for it down low. Change up in the air, shallow center. Dyson coming on at that great speed. Gets to it fairly easily. 2 away.
I think about, I mentioned it earlier, this is going to be a completely different feel at the deadline. The Boston Red Sox already struck in getting Drew Pomeranz. Drew Pomeranz is having a really good year, but it's not top of the rotation. Yeah. He's been really good in San Diego. He's never pitched a full season as a starter. The innings are a little bit of a concern, but I think Dave Dombrowski's looking around the league and realizing it is a really thin market, so he decides to strike a little bit early, and they get an arm. I don't know if that's going to be enough. It's certainly better than what they have, but it's going to be a little bit of a different feel. You said the Yankees. I also look at the Oakland A's as probably the team that's going to be the most active. They have as we see Al Avila there, the general manager of the Detroit Tigers. The A's for me have the most interesting pieces because they have Rich Hill. Potentially they have Sonny Gray. They have Josh Reddick, potentially another free agent who could be on the move if they cannot get an extension done, and it sounds like that's kind of hit a wall. And they have relievers that people would like to have. Not Andrew Miller, not Aroldis Chapman, but that next tier of guys. Sean Doolittle could be available. Ryan Madson could be available. John Axford could be available. Mark Zepchinski. So they could be very active at the deadline.
Aviles, guys, 1 is short. Escobar is there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Danny Duffy. We'll talk more about this when we come back. We played 4. It's 5-3 Kansas City. Dustin Mollican has done the job coming in relief of Mike Pelfrey back in the 2nd inning. He came in with the bases loaded. His first pitch was a wild pitch that allowed a run to score, and since then he has settled things down. He throws a first pitch strike to Cheslor Cuthbert, who's 1 for 2. An RBI single and a strikeout looking. Now a ground ball through the hole on the left side for a leadoff single. So just like that, I have jinxed Dustin Mollican.
Well, he's done a good job up to this point, and this is another one of the more underappreciated jobs in baseball. We're talking about Ian Kinsler and being kind of an underappreciated player, but an underappreciated role will be that long man. It is such a difficult thing to do. You don't get regular work to sit around. And then when you do get work, the team expects you to go long and eat innings and try to keep your club in the ballgame, and he's done a very good job of that so far. Now they can stretch him out a little bit because he has started at the minor league level. We've seen him get up to as many as 86 pitches earlier this year when he was in AAA Toledo. But he's probably getting close to the end here. They'd love to try to get him through one more inning, would be nice, but I don't think Brad Ausmus is going to push it, being that the score is so close.
Kyle Ryan is warming up with the bullpen, the left-hander for the Tigers. Christian Colon at the plate, walked his last time up. RBI ground out his first time up. He takes a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Foul back, no balls and 2 strikes. We were talking before about homegrown talent and how this Royals team was constructed and how what they've done these last few years, how they built this team. Well, look at the homegrown talent on Kansas City versus Detroit.
and guys that have contributed on the left side there. I mean, we see some big names, of course, like Alex Gordon. But thinking about what's going on this year with this club and some other guys that they probably were not expecting, like Whit Merrifield, the role that Cuthbert has had to take on with Moustakas being down. And again, it goes back to player development and a great job of scouting and getting guys in your system, but then also preparing them. But also every once in a while, you got to get a little lucky too. Whit Merrifield was available to anybody who wanted him this year. He was on that roster, 40-man roster for 3 years, did not see the big leagues. They had to take him off at the end of this year. Anybody could have claimed him and took him in the Rule 5 draft. 29 teams passed on him. He comes back to the Royals, and he's done a really important job for them this year, filling in at second base.
After the wild pitch, Colon down the right field line, giving a look as Aviles, and that is into the seats. It stays 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And go back to, too, you mentioned as they went through that rebuilding phase, and remember when they kind of shocked the world when they traded Will Myers. And every fan of the rebuild of the Kansas City Royals was furious. To bring in James Shields, to trade Will Myers, did not go over well at all amongst Royals fans and amongst critics of the way that this rebuild was going. That was a watershed moment for this organization. That is when things changed, and they let everybody know we're here to contend now. We are done rebuilding, and it is now time for us to start winning. And they bring in a good pitcher in James Shields, but also a guy with that winning personality, great in the clubhouse, and the message gets across. And all of a sudden now here we are a couple years later, and they got their ring.
And by the way, the throw-in guy was Wade Davis.
That's right. A lot of criticism for Dayton Moore when that happened, and they nailed it. And there is absolutely nothing anybody can say anymore about the way that they handled that situation, how they got things turned around in Kansas City.
Up high with a fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know what? It's just a matter of how you build a team, right? Because think about the Royals. Let's be honest. They were bad for a long, long time. And everybody in Kansas City knows about it. And all of a sudden, 2013, they're starting to turn the corner. People can see it happening. 2014, they make that run with the wild card. They get to the World Series. They get to Game 7 of the World Series. Then last year, they win the World Series. Think about these Tigers. CJ, I don't have to tell you. You were on the Tigers. You know how bad things were here in Detroit. And then 2006, they make the World Series. They've been on a 10-year run where they have been in or near the playoffs virtually every year for 10 straight years.
And their plan was a little bit different than what the Royals did. Yeah, they hit on draft picks like Justin Verlander, but it was great trades with Dave Dombrowski and what he did to get Miguel Cabrera in here, to get Max Scherzer in here via trade. Not easy to do. And then it became about the commitment from their owner, Mr. Ilitch, who wants this ring so bad. He's had a lot of success with his hockey team here in Detroit, but he wants a World Series ring for the Tigers. He played minor league baseball, and this is his first love, and he's doing whatever he has to do to get it.
Colon serves one into right field. Here comes Aviles up and throwing. This comes all the way through. McCann can't scoop it. It's an RBI single for Colon as Cuthbert scores, and taking second on the throw is Colon. Here comes Brad Ausmus. He makes the signal to the bullpen, and that is going to be it for Dustin Mulliken. So we were saying as this inning began that Mulliken had done his job, and then a leadoff single, a wild pitch, and now an RBI single by Colon, and his night is done. On the season, a 3.52 ERA versus lefties, 3.08 versus righties, 3.09, and he's facing a lefty here in Jarrod Dyson, who is 0 for 2. A ground out to second, a fly out to left, and Colon is on at second. Nobody out here in the fifth. And the first pitch fastball misses outside for ball one.
And a lot of times we talk about it's a good thing when you have even splits against coming out of a bullpen, lefties or righties, but not when obviously those numbers are up above 300. Kyle Ryan, a guy that they expect to be able to get those lefties out, and as you watch him pitch, you'll see him throw across his body, which should be pretty difficult for lefties to pick up, but not this year.
Pulled to right field. Aviles goes over to cut it off. Waved around is Colon, and that ball is cut off by Kinsler. And it's an RBI single for Jarrod Dyson. That run is charged to Mulliken, and it's now 7-3 Kansas City.
I wonder about some miscommunication on this play as we see the pitch first to Jarrod Dyson. A comfortable swing on a ball that's away. Good level swing. Does a good job lining this ball into right field. But let's watch Ian Kinsler right here. I kind of wonder if he did not realize that there might have been a play at the plate. Look at the way that he received that ball, and then you see the runner go across. So either he mistimed it. A lot of times you got to do that in your head and have a feel for it, or he just assumed that he would not see Cheslor Cuthbert trying to score on that play. Colon trying to score there.
So now Dyson certainly a threat to steal on at first, and Ryan throws over. Jarrod Dyson 12 for 15 on the season and stolen bases. And Alcides Escobar at the plate for the 4th time in tonight's game. A single, a walk, a run scored, and a ground out. And it's now back up to a 4-run lead for the Royals. Fastball in there for a strike.
I was mentioning about Mr. Ilitch, the owner here of the Detroit Tigers, played in the minor leagues from 1952 to 1955, and that's where his passion from baseball comes. This is what he has always loved. He played in the Tigers organization in the minor leagues, also with the Yankees and the Washington Senators, but he has done everything he possibly can to try to make it happen here in Detroit. He has opened up his wallet, spent a lot of money over the years, also part of it keeping guys here like Justin Verlander, Miguel Cabrera, but then also going out of the organization in free agency when Dave Dombrowski was here and allowing him to bring in some big fish. We have seen it over the last few years, and their payroll right now around $198 million. This is going to be the first time that the Detroit Tigers are going to be paying into the luxury tax, and that's because of Jordan Zimmerman and Justin Upton this past year, but it's been other guys. Victor Martinez, and they re-upped him again. Prince Fielder in 2012, Maglio and Pudge Rodriguez in those years in that team that went to the World Series in 2006. It's nice to have that kind of owner because they have the kind of payroll that does not match the market. Think about other teams in this division, the Cleveland Indians, the Kansas City Royals, the Minnesota Twins, very similar size markets, but it's the Tigers that are the ones that are out there spending and trying to make this happen.
No balls, 1 strike here to Escobar. And they've got the runner picked off. Throw down, and Cabrera's throw is wide. It's a stolen base for Jarrod Dyson.
Well, you just talked about the incredible speed of Jarrod Dyson. He's a fun guy to watch play in the outfield. He's a fun guy to watch run the bases, but we've just seen now the right side of the infield first with Ian Kinsler on the cutoff, and now Miguel Cabrera. This should be an automatic, but you cannot take your time with Jarrod Dyson. And you see that throw way off as it's up the line. You're supposed to, you see how he fields that ball on the bag? When a runner takes off, you're actually supposed to take a couple of steps toward the pitcher. And the reason is because you create a throwing lane for your throw. Miguel Cabrera did not do that there. And then you see him pull that throw because he's trying to make sure he doesn't hit Jarrod Dyson. He overcompensated, and a fundamental mistake there by me.
Now no balls and 2 strikes to Escobar. I was just having this conversation this past week about why I love watching lefties at first base versus righties at first base, and why it's a position made for lefties. That's one of the reasons right there, because if there's a lefty like Eric Hosmer at first base right there, that throw is a lot easier to make to second than it is for a right-hander.
No doubt, and that's a big part of it. That's why we see a lot of lefties playing first base, but the second part of that is also making sure he comes off the bag when the runner takes over.
Iglesias makes the play to first to retire Escobar, but down to third base goes Dyson. So 1 away, runner on at third here in the 5th. And And that'll bring the infield in for Eric Hosmer. Justin Kutcher alongside CJ Nitkowski here on FS1. Tigers in Royals, game 2 of this 3-game series. In game 1, it was a victory for the Tigers 4-2. Game 3 of this series will be tomorrow 1:10 p.m. Rodano Ventura against Michael Fulmer. And the first pitch is inside to Hosmer. Eric Hosmer doubled back in the first, came around to score, walked in the second, flew out to center in the third. Breaking ball, fouled down the third baseline. 1 ball and 1 strike.
And we talked about the numbers of Kyle Ryan and the struggles against lefties, which is where, of course, the Tigers would like to see him excel when he's coming out of the bullpen. Part of the reason is that he doesn't have the big breaking ball, doesn't throw a slider, and the curveball he doesn't use very often. Just 8% of the time it is mostly fastballs and mostly cutters, which is not necessarily the ideal repertoire when you're trying to get lefties out coming out of the bullpen.
Ground ball past Cabrera into right field. RBI single for Hosmer, and now it's 8-3 Royals. 50th RBI of the season for Eric Hosmer.
It's great situational hitting here by Hosmer, who's hitting .293 coming into this game with runners in scoring position. He knows the infield's in, and so he has a plan to try to get that ball through the infield. You're either trying to lift the baseball to try to get the sac fly, but if you get a pitch that you know that you can handle and hit on the ground, and you're trying to find a hole, you don't have to hit it nearly as hard with the infield in. And credit Eric Hosmer, despite the fact that maybe he didn't hit that hard, he understands the situation and took advantage of it.
Still just 1 out, and now Kendrys Morales, the switch hitter, will turn around to bat from the right side. And he takes the first pitch for a strike from Kyle Ryan. Inside. 1-1. Check swing. Did he go? He did. No appeal necessary. Vic Carapaza said he went around. Slow ground ball to short. Iglesias gets it to second for 1, over to first, and a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. But 3 runs do come across in the inning. It's 8-3 Royals through 4.5. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Bottom third of the order here for the Tigers, now trailing by 5. McCann, Collins, Iglesias against Danny Duffy. Fastball in the outside corner to McCann, who struck out his first time up. 4 strikeouts in the game for Danny Duffy. And the Tigers, they trailed 4-0 and 5-1 and 5-3 and now 8-3. And that's just kind of demoralizing. You climb back, you're within striking distance, and then bam.
And that's the downside of having to go to your bullpen so early. You're not sure what you're going to get. I talked about it earlier, thinking about the long man and what a difficult role that can be. But Dustin Malkin did a good job. Maybe went a little bit too far on a couple of batters that ultimately ended up coming around to score in that last inning. And you're absolutely right. It becomes deflating because you're trying to climb back in. Ian Kinsler's been so good in this game offensively, providing all of the offense for the Tigers and doing a good job of trying to get that momentum to swing the other way. But they have been unable to hold that. They'll try to get back in this again, but Danny Duffy looks to be getting settled in here right now for the Royals.
And there is the 5th strikeout for Duffy. Second time he's got McCann. Time for a game break. Let's go back to Chris Myers. Thank you, Chris. And Tyler Collins steps in and takes the first pitch fastball for a strike from Duffy. Carlos Santana for the Indians reminds me so much of Victor Martinez.
Good guy to comp to for sure. When you think about Victor Martinez and the great career that he has had. We were talking about him earlier and the quality of the at-bats. Brad Ausmus told me something last year when we were doing a game here about how Victor Martinez doesn't give a pitch away in an at-bat. He's never seen it really before. We talk about guys giving at-bats away, but not giving pitches away is a pretty difficult thing to do.
Easy out right there. Christian Colon makes the play. And tomorrow, MLS Soccer Sunday, sponsored by Audi, returns with 2 huge games. First on Fox, it's one of the fiercest rivalries in the MLS as the Portland Timbers take on Jordan Morris and the Seattle Sounders at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Then Philadelphia and the Red Bulls square off on FS1 at 7 p.m. Eastern, or you can watch it all on Fox Sports Go. 2 away now for Jose Iglesias, and the breaking ball is low and outside for ball 1. Iglesias hit by a pitch, came around to score on the 2-run shot by Kinsler back in the 3rd. Fastball is outside.
We talked a lot this year, and we have talked a lot about the emergence of the shortstop position, how it's kind of been almost a renaissance year with the great shortstops. It's starting to feel like that era when we saw Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, Nomar, Miguel Tejada all kind of coming into the game at the same time. Well, now it's Carlos Correa. Xander Bogaerts is having an MVP type of season. Corey Seager out in LA. There's so many good shortstops in both leagues, but Jose Iglesias sometimes I think also gets a little bit looked over. He's not having the monster year offensively, but he is so good defensively. He's had some good offensive years in the past, and almost seems like he's the old man of the group at 26. I mean, people forget sometimes how young he really is, but also a very good shortstop, maybe not getting the recognition because there's so many good ones at the position this year.
That's inside. So he reaches base for the 2nd time tonight. Once hit by a pitch, this time via the walk. And that'll bring up Ian Kinsler. For Iglesias, I think it's more the fact that the other shortstops are all around great players. He is known more for his glove than he is for his bat, whereas this guy, Ian Kinsler, he is a guy who can do it with both his glove and his bat. At second base, he's got himself a double, a 2-run home run. Snap throw back to first.
don't forget, though, Iglesias last year in All-Star hit 300 with a 347 on base, and I think that's where you started to see it. And we knew about the glove, and he had a pretty good year.
But what were the power numbers? What were extra
Oh,
bases? And
yeah, he's not a power guy. He only hit a couple of home runs, but he was getting it done.
I mean, look at like Francisco Lindor or Correa or Seager or you know, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh.
It's been fun to watch. It really has been. And the glove guys that are okay offensively are just as fun to watch. Zach Cozart, great glove, and he's actually been better offensively than we're used to seeing. And he's got a little bit more power, but just been a great era right now. We're seeing it get started here with these good young shortstops around Major League Baseball. It's been fun to watch.
1-1 strike to Kinsler. Escobar, very good glove at shortstop for the Royals. A Gold Glover. Kinsler in the air, center field, playable for Dyson. And that'll do it here in the 5th. Danny Duffy is through 5. It's all Royals so far here on the Saturday night as they lead Detroit 8-3. Night here in downtown Detroit, top of the 6th, 8-3. Royals leading the Tigers. Salvador Perez to face Kyle Ryan. Perez doubled his last time up to right center field. And the first pitch fastball is low and outside for ball 1. A double, a walk, a run scored, and a fly out to center. For the All-Star game leading vote getter Salvador Perez. And you know, you think usually the leading vote getter for the All-Star game is a popularity contest. I think for Perez it's the fact that he is so much better at catcher than any other option in the American League these days.
He does such a great job behind the plate, an unbelievable job of throwing runners out, receiving. And what's probably most impressive is that he does it as a big man, right? A lot of times to take the abuse back there. He has caught more innings the last 2 years, 2014 and 15, when you look at the playoffs, than anybody else in history. And he's been durable. He does a great job back there, but he does it with a big body. We saw him take that foul tip earlier. Some guys coming out after that, but not Salvador Perez. He's been unbelievably durable. Another one of the great personalities of the game as well. Another guy that's having some fun. We talked about him and Miguel Cabrera earlier. And no doubter for me is a guy that should be leading regularly when it comes to that All-Star voting.
Foul tips this one. This was last night. Salvador Perez. Watch this from his knees. That's like Benito Santiago.
Not even that it's from his knees, but it's so incredibly accurate. Some guys will try to make that throw, because they have to and they feel like they have to be in a rush, and usually the throw is not going to be that good. It's about as good as a throw that you can make, whether you're from your knees or actually standing up and throwing it. He's an absolute joy to watch. Does a great job behind the plate.
In the dirt, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Maybe he's thinking that pitch is low in the dirt. Being my size, it's easier to throw from my knees than actually stand up and have to make the throw.
It's a lot of work, but that is not an easy skill set by any means. And it might look like it was just more because it was more convenient, but it's an excellent job by him. 21 of 41 potential base stealers he has thrown out this year. It's incredible.
51.2%. James McCann has thrown out 56% of would-be base stealers. And Salvador Perez walks for the 2nd time tonight. Salvador Perez mentioned the All-Star game on Tuesday night after his teammate Hosmer went deep. There was a base hit, and then he, against his former teammate Johnny Cueto, he said, "Oh yeah, that pitch looks familiar. I used to catch that."
Absolutely. It's one of the worst things as a pitcher when you change teams and have to face one of your former catchers, because you're trying to think along with them, and you're like, "Well, this guy has seen every trick that I have. He knows my tendencies. He knows what I like to do. He knows when I'm in trouble." And then you can start outthinking yourself. And I think Johnny Cueto may have done that there, and then you end up just making a mistake over the plate. He put a great swing on it.
All right, so be honest, as Alex Gordon takes the first pitch strike, when you faced a former catcher, how nervous were you?
It's not about being nervous. It's just a matter of overthinking the situation, which is pretty much my MO anyway, even if I'm not facing one of my former catchers. But I never had a lot of success. Brad Ausmus, who's the manager of the Tigers, of course, I played with. I faced him before we became teammates. Did not have to face him afterwards, but it's not a fun feeling at all. As you said, they've seen everything you have. They know what you like to do. They've seen your fastball, which is really important. Right? We talk a lot of times when a guy comes from the minor leagues and people watch video all day long and they'll try to figure it out. You never know what a fastball looks like until you actually get in the box and get a feel for it. Well, nobody has seen more than your own catcher.
Lone outside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Gordon. RBI single back in the first, a walk and a line out to first base. You mentioned as far as nobody has seen more than your catcher. Ausmus, being a catcher, as you said, he's actually gotten behind the plate and caught some of his pitchers. Gordon in the air, straightaway center. Maben going back in front of the warning track makes the catch. A deep center field here at Comerica Park. 420 to straightaway. One of the deepest parks in all of baseball. If I'm not mistaken, the old Tiger Stadium.
Flagpole in play.
What was straightaway?
I believe it was 440.
440,
if I'm not
right?
mistaken.
Yeah. And here comes Brad Ausmus out. And Alex Wilson is going to be the new pitcher here for the Tigers. The 4th pitcher of the night for Detroit. Top of the 6th, 1 out. This is Old Tiger Stadium, and there's that flagpole you mentioned, CJ, that was in play in straightaway center field, 440 feet. And this one used to be in play. No more.
Much to the discouragement of the pitchers, and now you can hit a ball out there and actually be a home run instead of maybe a triple. You always like the bigger ballpark, so give up those couple of extra base hits in exchange for a few deep fly balls that turn into outs, which is nice, or maybe some potential home runs as we take a look at Alex Wilson and what he has done for the Tigers this year. I will tell you that any Tiger fan that is looking at that image and seeing the old ballpark and what it is emotional. The place was here for so long, and it's meant so much to so many people, so many Tigers fans, not just here in Detroit, but really around the entire country. It's an old ballpark, but a beautiful one, and one that is missed by many people.
Paulo Orlando against Alex Wilson, right back up the middle for a base hit. First and second, one out here in the sixth. What was it like at that old ballpark?
I loved it. It was so fun to go to. It was one of my favorite parks as a kid. I was a Yankee fan. Old Tiger Stadium was always my second favorite park. It always looked so cool on TV. And got to play there that final season. Also played in '95 and '96. And I always told people the history is, it just gets you every time. But when you're playing 81 games there a year, the amenities were obviously not in very good shape at that moment. But I was sad to see it go. I went back and visited the grounds last year, and it was cool to be back there and see the guys at the Naven grounds crew that were continuing to take care of the field. They went back and restored it after it kind of fell into ruins, and did a really nice job. And now the city is taking over the Police Athletic League here in Detroit. But it was really cool because of the history and the submarine bullpen down the lines. This is something you'll never, ever see again. And some of the greatest seats in baseball they had there. Think Old Tiger Stadium. I mean, think about this stadium now. It's a beautiful ballpark, but how far away the upper decks are, just like they are everywhere else in Major League Baseball. Well, if you sat down, say, around third base or so on the upper deck, you were almost hanging over the field. It was such an incredible view. So much great history there as well in Old Tiger Stadium. It was a privilege to be able to play in that ballpark. Actually got to start the final night game there.
Really?
At Tiger Stadium when we closed it out for the weekend, which was a really cool moment for me and our team and our club, and to see it filled. We were a bad team, but it was getting filled at that point because fans wanted to say goodbye to Old Tiger Stadium, and it was really cool. Brad Osmos was a part of that team. Tony Clark, now the head of the Players Association, was a member of that team. Doug Brocail, now the pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, was a member of that team. It was a really cool moment. Lots of great memories for people that follow the Detroit Tigers in Old Tiger Stadium.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Cheslor Cuthbert. 2 for 3 RBI single, a run scored back in the 5th, and a strikeout. The 1-2, ground ball back up the middle. Stepping on the bag and throwing to first base for a double play is Ian Kinsler. And that will end the inning. Nicely done by Gold Glove caliber second baseman in Kinsler. We're through 5 1/2, 8-3 Royals. Strikeouts, 1 walk, all the damage essentially done courtesy of Ian Kinsler against Danny Duffy, and he'll face Cameron Maybin, Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez here in the 6th with a 5-run cushion. And the first pitch, fastball's in there for a strike to Maybin, who had the RBI single back in the 1st, as he just kind of tossed a changeup, flicked a changeup out in the center field to score Kinsler. Slider, low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
One of the things you worry about for a relief pitcher who comes back into the rotation is whether or not his repertoire is going to be deep enough, or if he can keep all of his pitches sharp. We've seen that from Danny Duffy. The fastball has always been there, and it's been very good since he got back into the rotation, but we've seen the changeup be really good. We've seen the slider be really good. A lot of times when you go into the bullpen, a lot of guys prefer to go down to 2 pitches and just focus on those, and the repertoire sometimes gets trimmed, and if you have to go back to the rotation, that could be a little bit of an issue, but it has not been an issue at all here for Danny Duffy.
1-2 changeup, and he got him swinging. That strikeout number 6 for Duffy. And now greater coverage of baseball, sponsored by T-Mobile. A look around baseball. The Texas Rangers, the best record in the American League at the All-Star break. That's the first time in team history. Giancarlo Stanton put on a show at the Home Run Derby, averaging a home run every 13 at-bats. And Madison Bumgarner, look at what this guy's doing. Forget about what he's doing on the mound. How about at the plate?
He loves facing Clayton Kershaw. 2 home runs against him in his career. There are a lot of big league hitters who cannot say that, who have faced him multiple times.
Off-speed pitch just misses. 1 ball and 1 strike to Cabrera. Get you out to Chris Myers in a moment for an update on that Pirates-Nationals game. Cabrera in the air, straightaway center field. Dyson on the warning track, and this ballpark will keep it in. So with that, a little scare, got the crowd up on its feet, and we'll go to Chris Myers for a game break. Thanks, Chris. It's 8-3 here in Detroit. Bottom half of the 6th. The Royals trying to even this series at 1 game apiece. Victor Martinez has struck out both times against Duffy. And Duffy starts him off with an off-speed pitch, and you can hear Danny Duffy. Yeah.
Breaking ball that he lets get away, sits up in the zone. At that point, he's thinking it's the get me over breaking ball. The 0-0 count, you just want to flip it in there, maybe not your best, and try to get ahead of Victor Martinez, who likely would be taking in that situation, but he was unable to execute.
Nice play by Cuthbert at 3rd. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Danny Duffy as he looks at Cheslor Cuthbert and says, hey, nicely done. Thanks for the help. That's what you get for pitching for this Royals team. Good defense. Place in Cooperstown, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony live on MLB Network. Top of the 7th, new pitcher for the Tigers. It is the flamethrower, Bruce Rondon. 3-1 in 8 games, a 3.72 ERA, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks, 9 2/3 innings. How about 3 home runs against righties this year? And the first pitch is down low in the dirt to Christian Colon. Colon, 1 for 2. A single, a walk, a couple of RBIs, 1 in the first, 1 in the 5th. And fouled straight back at 96. Bruce Rondon came up, a lot of height, able to pump that fastball up over 100 miles per hour. Then had Tommy John surgery, missed all of 2014. Good tight breaking ball there.
A lot of high expectations for Bruce Rondon. You mentioned the great fastball that he has, and they had wondered, could he be the guy that takes over in the closer role, and had some issues, and injuries were part of them. But last year he got sent home at the end of the season, late September, and the phrase that the Tigers used, and I would have guessed this might have been a little bit of an attempt to embarrass him and maybe send a message, was lack of effort was the reason that he was taken off the 25-man roster at that point in September. So it's expanded rosters, but essentially sent home with the minor league season being over. I think they believe maybe that message was received. There's a lot of upside with this guy. The Tigers want to make sure that he was giving his best effort. Did not see it. Decided to send him home last year with just about a week left in the season.
There was a slider, and you can see the stuff that he has.
It's exciting, and he can be impacted. This is a guy that with that kind of stuff can generate a great number of strikeouts. We've talked about the great relievers in the American League earlier tonight. Some guys that might be on the move, and Aroldis Chapman, Dylan Kansas, Andrew Miller, Craig Kimbrel, all the great strikeout guys. He has that kind of stuff, and that's what they want to see from him, and be able to use him in bigger situations and count on him to give that best effort every time out.
Quickly 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th as Dyson grounds out to first. You see a guy like Rondon, big guy, hard thrower. 2016, 10 years since that 2016 went to the World Series, and this year, throughout the year, the Tigers are bringing different players back from that 2016. Tonight they've got Brandon Inge here in attendance, signing autographs. Was on a pregame show here. That's in the dirt. 58-footer, 1 ball, no strikes. Think back to that 06 team. You know who was dominant out of the bullpen that year? Joel Zumaya.
That's right. Another great arm who unfortunately ran into some issues as well. Injury issues, a freak accident that he had in his garage, if memory serves, and just never know. Trying to find the consistency and staying healthy. Not an easy thing to do, but you're right. He was hugely impacted at that time and looked like a guy who was headed for an extended, long, bright future coming out of that bullpen for the Tigers.
When he'd hump it up to 102, 103 with a nasty curveball in that division series against the Yankees, made Alex Rodriguez, Sheffield just look silly. 2-0 in the air, hit well by Escobar. Maybe just got under it. Room for Collins, and a 1-2-3 inning for Bruce Rondon. It's stretch time at Comerica. 8-3 Royals. Budweiser, Eric Hosmer, the All-Star Game MVP, 2 for 3, a double RBI and a run scored. Ian Kinsler, he's got a double, a 2-run home run, and 2 runs scored. Mike Pelfrey struggled mightily. An inning and 2/3. 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks. And Danny Duffy, he is now working into the 7th inning, facing Nick Castellanos, Mike Aviles, and James McCann. Castellanos 0 for 2, a ground out to third and a fly out to center. Castellanos lines one to left field, and he leads off the 7th inning with a base hit. Next Saturday, MLB on FS1 is back with a big-time doubleheader. All-Star backstop Buster Posey and the Giants, battle Mark Teixeira and the Yankees. Then the Rangers tangle with these Royals in a game you can only see on FS1. The action begins at 4 p.m. Eastern on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Leadoff single for Castellanos brings up Mike Aviles. And Aviles takes the pitch outside for ball 1. He is 0 for 2, a ground out to third, a pop out to short. Aviles getting a start in right field. He fouls this one back.
I think this is an important time here in the game for the Detroit Tigers. They want to try to get back in this thing, trailing by 5. You see the pitch count there for Danny Duffy as he gets ready to approach 90. Trying to get some runners on base, maybe try to get into that bullpen. Not an ideal situation. It's a great bullpen, and so the point being, your best chance is maybe to try to get to Danny Duffy as he starts to become a little bit fatigued, because once they turn it over to that Kansas City Royals bullpen, things get very, very difficult for opposing hitters.
And Wade Davis activated off the DL for the Royals, their closer, so he's available. And speaking of the DL, Aviles getting a start in right field because JD Martinez still on the DL for the Tigers. And that is in their first strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Justin Upton, the starting left fielder, on the bereavement list for the Tigers, so not your typical corner outfield for Detroit in this game, with Tyler Collins in left and Aviles in right. Fastball is up high now, 3-2.
It's not, and then in situations like this, the depth, of course, gets tested. Steven Moya has been called up. Has got an opportunity to play some right field. Still needs some work defensively. Hasn't happened for him just yet. They believe it will at some point in his career, but not yet here in 2016.
Handcuffed to center field. Dyson coming in, slides, can't make the catch, and Castellanos moves up to second base. A single for Aviles. First and second, nobody out here in the 7th.
We almost saw Jarrod Dyson make up for a misread and catch this ball, and there's not too many outfielders from Major League Baseball that were going to be able to get to this anyway. We talk about his great speed a lot, but he got fooled off the bat. A lot of times when you get jammed and you take the big swing, that outfielder will take that first step back, which you're supposed to generally do anyway, but it was a little bit of a slower reaction to come forward. By the time he realized that the baseball was slowly hit, he just ran out of time, but the great speed almost made up for that read. It's not a bad read, it's just that it happens with guys a lot of times when they take that big swing and don't hit the ball nearly as hard as it looks like they hit it.
And that slide by Dyson, it looked like it was an awkward slide. If it's your typical slide, I think he makes that catch.
Maybe. I mean, he's trying to make up for the ground that he lost with that incredible speed, and looks like he got caught in between and wasn't able to slide exactly the way that he wanted to.
And now James McCann, watch this. It almost looks like he's in between. Do I slide? Do I dive? And watch the way he slides.
Because he's got to try to come around, get around that ball, and it's just a matter of him probably running out of real estate. If he had an extra step, then maybe he can slide that traditional way and catch that ball just off to the side.
McCann has struck out both times he's been up. Takes the pitch inside, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Royals bullpen finally busy. Peter Moylan is throwing out there in the pen for Kansas City. Three balls and no strikes. And you have to believe that James McCann is keeping this bat on his shoulder for this pitch.
Absolutely. I think what we've seen so far here from Danny Duffy, mentioned the fatigue maybe starting to set in just a little bit at 95 pitches. He's just his 12th start of the year. He did go 8 2/3 in his last one, and so he's been able to go deep in games, but absolutely he has to be taking here.
His last 4 starts, 103, 101, 110, 108 pitches for Danny Duffy. 96 pitches right now. 3 balls and a strike to McCann with Tyler Collins on deck. On the inside corner, good pitch, 3-2.
James McCann obviously did not like that one as he looks back. Home plate umpire Vic Carpazza. You see the fastball. It's actually a 2-seam fastball across the seams. He thought it was up and in. Probably a good call, but nevertheless, it's still a good take because he's not going to do much with that ball in a 3-1 count. It's still a hitter's count. You can be a little bit more patient. So he was wise to let that one go. But sometimes you look back there and say something to the umpire in the hopes that if that pitch gets thrown again, or if it's a little bit closer, that maybe you get that call go your way instead.
The payoff pitch. Fouled off of Perez. We'll do it again at 3-2. Bottom of the 7th inning, 8-3 ball game. Another 3-2 pitch. McCann, did he go? He did, says first base umpire DJ Rayburn. Strikeout number 7 for Danny Duffy, out number 1 here in the 7th.
And 0 hesitation from the first base umpire. You mentioned Rayburn. We'll get to see it here, and you see the barrel go across. And absolutely, James McCann offered at that pitch. We get a great angle here. We get to see it. And for me, that is a swing. He thought it wasn't, tried to sell it. I think the barrel came far enough across to call that a swing.
I would agree with you. And so now, here is Tyler Collins, who last night had a game-tying home run. And tonight he comes up lefty against Danny Duffy. He's 0 for 2, flew out to left and grunted out to second base. And at this point here for the Tigers, they're just hoping they can get a couple more guys on and extend this inning to get to the top of the order. Get Ian Kinsler a chance to bat in this inning. 100 pitches now for Danny Duffy.
He's done a really nice job. Look at the consistency. No blow-up innings, nothing that got out of control for him. Just very consistent pitch count throughout the game, and then throws that 9 in there in the 6th inning, which helps keep you around just a little bit longer. He's done a really nice job. And the Tigers are missing a big opportunity. 1st and 2nd, nobody out, a 3-0 count that turns into a strikeout. That could be the pivotal difference in this inning going forward.
0-2. Fouled away, stays no balls and 2 strikes. Shane Green has been warming up in the Tigers bullpen. It was an easy, efficient inning for Bruce Rondon in the top half of the inning for Detroit. Up high with a fastball at 95. Ground ball right side through the hole. They're going to send Castellanos. No throw coming in. He will score. It's 1st and 3rd. 1 out here in the 7th, and it's now 8-4 Kansas City.
Much like we saw earlier in the game when Mike Pelfrey was still pitching, you get the weak ground ball, you're thinking maybe double play, but so well placed right in the hole, and Tyler Collins does a good job pulling this ball Again, just topped it, did not hit it particularly hard, but got it through the infield, and that's going to do it for Danny Duffy.
Ned Yost has come out. And Ned Yost has made the call to the bullpen. Runners on the corners, bottom half of the 7th. 8-4, and Moylan is coming in. Pitcher for the Royals inherits runners on the corners. One out, bottom of the 7th, and Jose Iglesias at the plate. And he spins the first one in there for a strike, 0-1.
Moylan's got that funky sidearm delivery, and the idea here with one out is to try to get that ground ball with the runner at first base. Does a great job, 59% ground ball rate. He is the perfect guy to bring in this situation. Everyone loves having one of these guys in their pen, the guy that can get you the ground ball in the double play when you need to get out of a jam.
The numbers on Moylan this year: 2-0, a 2.95 ERA in 16 games. 21 1/3 innings, 18 strikeouts, 8 walks. Righties hitting .235 against him.
You see those lefties at .333, almost 100 points higher. Not a surprise. Whenever you get the side armors, more often than not, the opposite-handed hitter is going to have a much better look at that ball. They see it coming in really well, and unless you have that really good, devastating changeup from the side, it becomes difficult to neutralize for a right-handed submariner or side armor left-handed hitters.
Trying to shoot one the other way was Iglesias, fouls it away, 1-2. Duffy getting some handshakes, but right now he's looking on because he's been charged with 4 runs, but he is responsible for those 2 men on right now.
Ooh.
That bounced up and caught Iglesias right in the face.
It's that heavy 2-seam fastball. It's got such great late movement on it. You throw it down and into a righty. Watch the movement here as the ball goes down, and that's why he gets the ground ball. So many guys hit the top half, and luckily that ball caught the helmet first and then caught him on the nose. Maybe lessens the impact just a little bit. Had it caught him straight from the ground to the face, that would have hurt a little bit more.
That trainer Kevin Rand came out with Ausmus to take a look at Iglesias, and he's okay. Salvador Perez Let me see. Let me see. Foul tipped, just barely.
And you see it again. Moreland goes right back in there, and that's absolutely the right play. Anytime you get a guy that fouls the ball off his ankle or something like we saw there where it hits his helmet on that good sinker down and in, for me, I absolutely repeat and go in there again and try to make him hit that pitch. He's still working on trying to generate that ground ball.
He gets the ground ball. Escobar will step on the back, throw to first, and there it is. You like that guy out of the bullpen for reasons like that. The 6-3 inning-ending double play. Detroit gets one back. It's 8-4 at the end of 7.
Grip the Moment, sponsored by Falken Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. And the man that gripped the moment tonight was Danny Duffy, the starting pitcher for the Kansas City Royals. A great night as we show his strikeouts here of Cameron Maybin, James McCann in a big situation last inning. A couple of strikeouts of Victor Martinez today, and he did it with everything that he had. It wasn't just a good fastball, but the changeup, the breaking ball as well. You see the 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk. 4 earned runs, maybe a little bit higher than you want it to be, but at the end of the day, this is about winning, and when your team spots you, that kind of lead, he did a really good job of keeping his team in it and giving them an opportunity to win tonight.
And now Shane Green is the new pitcher for the Tigers. Green, 21 games, 1-2 on the season, a 4.94 ERA. And a ground ball, Hosmer to second. Nice play by Kinsler. Makes the pirouette, throws to first, 1 away.
Shane Green, of course, came up with the New York Yankees, was traded over here to the Detroit Tigers a year ago, and I liked the trade for the Tigers. I liked what I saw from him 2 years earlier. Thought he could be a guy that could come over here and help in the rotation. Got off to a great start. His first 3 starts were outstanding last year, and then he started dealing with some inconsistencies, some injury issues. Has not quite bounced back the same, but there's still a lot of time here for Shane Green. Potentially maybe to try to get back into that rotation for me. Always liked what he did. He's in the bullpen right now, but there may be a spot for him in the future here if we can get it back to where he was at the beginning of last season.
Good pitch to start off Kendrys Morales. No balls and 1 strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Morales. Looking for his first hit. grounded into a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play his last time up in the 5th. Has also struck out, lined out, walked, and scored a run. Chopper, second, charging. That is Kinsler to make the play.
Iglesias coming from second base. Was it Kinsler?
That was Kinsler.
Oh, I thought it was Iglesias coming from over there. Sorry, partner.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AppBat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
The shifts not only mess up the hitters, but also the broadcasters. Just you're not sure where everybody is. A lot of times the guy ends up being in a different position. You got to kind of do a double take.
I'm just offended that you doubted me.
I make a lot of assumptions that you get a lot of things wrong, and I would see that I was wrong that time. So
maybe it's your height that got screwed up there.
Enjoy the moment. Doesn't happen too often until you're relishing in this. So just go ahead, do what you got to do, get it out of your system. There's Jose Iglesias, who did not make that last play.
Salvador Perez. He takes the fastball for a strike. That just reminded me when you said, there's Jose Iglesias, who did not make the last play of Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song. O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. But guess who is? Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
That's right.
Missing inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It will be interesting to see how Ned Yost handles his bullpen, even if it's a non-save situation, knowing that Wade Davis had missed a little bit of time. You might want to get him back out there, just get his first game under his belt, regardless of what the score is. You take that time off, even if you go rehab, whether you rehab or not, but you miss a significant amount of time. Nothing matches the intensity and the adrenaline of pitching in a major league game. And so I got to think, for me, if I'm running this club right now, non-save situation or a save situation, Wade Davis has got to get the ball tonight.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Perez. That pitch just missing, 2-2. Ripped to left field. A 1-hopper for Tyler Collins and a 2-out single for Salvador Perez. For those of you tuning in for the PBC Boxing, we'll get you out there immediately at the conclusion of our game. In the meantime, the broadcast is currently available on FS2 as well as streaming live on the Fox Sports Go app and at foxsportsgo.com. Second hit of the night for Salvador Perez. A single and a double. A 2-out base hit will bring up Alex Gordon. Gordon had the RBI single back in the first, has walked, a line out to first, and a fly out to center. Is that a slider or a cutter?
At that velocity, and you look at the break, for me, that plays like a cutter. Now, a lot of times you'll get pitchers that will call it something else because they want it to be. It might be more of a slider grip. That looks a little bit more like a slider spin, but did not get a ton of break out of it. So could be a small slider or a slightly bigger cutter, but the effect is just the same, especially when you go right-handed pitcher versus a lefty. That's what you're looking for. You want to keep that ball above the belt. You want slight cut on it. You want to run it in on the hands of those lefties. Very difficult to get to that unless you're cheating or looking for it as a left-handed hitter.
0-2 here to Gordon. Backdoor breaking ball misses.
And that was always the thing with Mariano Rivera, of course, who had maybe the greatest cutter that we've ever seen, certainly the greatest closer we've ever seen, is that a lot of opposing managers would send lefties up there to hit against him. And it was actually working into his strength because it was very difficult for those lefties to try to get the barrel to the ball away. He's cutting in so hard. That great cutter that he had.
And the strikeout for Shane Green to end the 8th. They leave a man on base. We go to the bottom half of the 8th. 8-4. Royals on top of the Tigers. Order Kinsler, Maben, and Cabrera. For those of you tuning in for PBC Boxing, it is coming up immediately following us here on FS1. Kinsler leading off here against Peter Moylan, who got Iglesias to ground into that 6-3 double play to end the 7th.
If I'm not mistaken, Brian Kenny is calling that fight for FS1, so you're not going to have to, because he also does boxing, of course, big baseball guy. You're not going to have to hear about fielding independent pitching or any of the other advanced metrics that he
Well, there
loves to
has
get
to be
into.
some advanced metrics in boxing, right?
I'm sure there are. I wouldn't know. And if there are, he will absolutely work them into a
the
broadcast.
jab can't be nearly as efficient as the uppercut. Kinsler, a soft line drive to third. Easy play for Cuthbert. One away here in the 8th. Cameron Maben, RBI single back in the 1st, has lined out to left and struck out since.
It's interesting talking to Brad Ausmus a little bit about Cameron Maben and what he has gone through over the last few years. Brad Ausmus was an assistant, a special assistant with the San Diego Padres when Maben was there, and the numbers didn't quite add up, and he said he felt like there was a lot of pressure for him to be a true 5-tool player. We talk about that a lot of times, to have the hit tool, the power tool, the arm, the throwing, the fielding. And he started learning some things last year working with Kevin Seitzer and really understanding himself a lot more and realizing that he doesn't necessarily have to be that guy, doesn't have to be the main guy. It's more about maybe just being a piece of the puzzle. And for some reason for him that just clicked. It made a lot more sense. Some people just operate a little bit better.
Difficult play up the middle. Colon, who is a shortstop in college, able to make the play to get Maben, who does run well. And 2 outs now here in the 8th.
Talking about different guys filling in, and you see Colon come across here. Perfect exchange, perfect throw. A little bit down on the dirt, but that's what's nice about having Eric Hosmer. He gives you the confidence of doing that. Infielders love that when they know that have that tough play. There's not the pressure to make the perfect throw, knowing that he's so good picking those balls out of the dirt.
Miguel Cabrera steps in. It's funny, you know, Cameron Maben was drafted by the Tigers. He was traded to the Marlins along with Andrew Miller for the guy at the plate right now, Miguel Cabrera and Dontrelle Willis. Right back up the middle for a base hit for Cabrera, his first hit of the night. But that is how highly sought after Cameron Maben was, as was Andrew Miller as a starter back then. Both guys top 10 overall picks, and the Marlins didn't think they would be able to re-sign a Miguel Cabrera, so they were going to get rid of him in a trade. And Dontrelle Willis at that time, he was kind of like the throw-in, and the Tigers thought they could rediscover something with Dontrelle. But Cameron Maben, I mean, this guy was supposed to be a 5-tool guy.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of hype to try to live up to. Like I said, I think for him, once he realized he didn't have to be the guy on the team, he was able to figure it out, and he has really blossomed here the last 2 years.
Cuthbert made the play from shortstop to retire Martinez. We go to the 9th here in Detroit, 8-4 Kansas City. At-Bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com At-Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Top of the 9th inning. A new pitcher for the Tigers. It is Mark Lowe. The numbers aren't what you would like. A 10.05 ERA in 33 games, 28 2/3 innings. 24 strikeouts to 11 walks. Righties hitting .406 against him. He is the 7th pitcher of the game for the Tigers, as Mike Pelfrey, the starter, went just an inning and 2/3. He will face Paulo Orlando, Cheslor Cuthbert, and Christian Colon here in the 9th. And the first pitch fastball's in there for a strike.
Mark Lowe has not been the guy that the Tigers were expecting this year. They signed him to a 2-year deal in the offseason. Looked like a pretty good signing on paper. I liked it for this team. Think about relief pitching and trying to find consistent arms that come out of the bullpen. He'd been really good over the last couple of years, but did not happen for him, or has not happened for him so far this year. Off to a slow start. Some concerns about the velocity coming down a little bit, but certainly the Tigers would like to see him get it turned around here in the second half.
1 ball, 1 strike to Orlando. Singled his last time up. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Paulo Orlando. 1 for 3. A single back in the 6th. Was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded back in the 1st for an RBI. Also came around to score in that 4-run first inning. The Royals got 4 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 5th. In the air, center field. Maben coming in and makes the catch for the first out.
One of the big issues for Mark Lowe has been the long ball. 10 home runs allowed already this year. That ties him for second amongst major league relievers. There's 3 guys that actually have 10. Casey Fien has 12 allowed in 35 innings. But of the guys that have allowed 10 or more, Mark Lowe easily has the least amount of innings. He's done it in just 28 and 2/3 innings. So that obviously a big problem where hitters have been able to get lift, to get that ball in the air and drive it out of the ballpark.
Cuthbert takes the first pitch in there for a strike. He's 2 for 4 RBI single. And a single in the 5th. Came around to score. One ball and 1 strike. The Royals sent 9 men to the plate in that first inning. But 4 runs across on 3 hits. A couple of walks. A hit batter. Cuthbert in the air to left. Collins goes back a few steps to make the catch, and they're 2 away. Well, CJ, apparently you know something, because Wade Davis is warming up at the bullpen. It's a non-save situation. However, like you said, coming off the DL, if you were managing this team, you'd want him up just to get him back into a game. And apparently, Ned Yost is in agreement with you. This might be the only time Ned Yost is in agreement with CJ Nitkowski.
That is very possible. For sure, but yes, you got to get him in there. And you know, even for the pitchers that have been healthy, you go through the All-Star break, which is a full 4 days now, right? Everybody has off that Thursday. It used to be where some teams would play on Thursday, but now it's everybody has off. A lot of relievers just want to get back in the game and get back in the groove of things, but certainly in the case of Wade Davis, where you've missed some significant time, you're very anxious to get back in the game, get a little bit of a feel, get back to where you were, making sure everything is all right. And save situation does not matter one way or the other. It's not a big deal. He just wants to get out there, throwing pitches in a big league game, getting ready for him for a strong second half that they're going to need him to do what he's done so well for this club.
2 balls and 2 strikes here to Colon.
We heard Mark Lowe kind of humping up and grunting a little bit as he threw that last pitch. His average fastball velocity this year 92.5. A year ago, 95.5. That's a full 3 miles an hour slower so far this year.
But he does work a 1-2-3 ninth. Wade Davis, fresh off the DL, says one more pitch, then I'm coming in. His team leads by 4. Sunday, sponsored by Audi, returns with 2 huge games. First on Fox, it's one of the fiercest rivalries in the MLS as the Portland Timbers take on Jordan Morris and the Seattle Sounders at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Then Philadelphia and the Red Bulls square off on FS1 at 7 p.m. Eastern, or you can watch it all on Fox Sports Go. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning here at Comerica Park in Detroit, and the new pitcher for the Royals is their closer, Wade Davis, fresh off the DL. 19 of 21 in save opportunities. It is not a save opportunity here, a 1.23 ERA. 28 strikeouts and 29 in the 3rd innings pitched. And he faces Nick Castellanos leading off here in the 9th.
You see those splits, talked about it earlier. Anytime you can get a reliever to have even splits and strong ones, the way that Wade Davis has, that is ideal. 175, 178 versus lefties and righties, dominating numbers.
Was on the DL with a right forearm strain. Last pitched on June 30th at St. Louis. And now he's 1 ball, 1 strike against Castellanos. We talked about the trade before when the Royals sent Will Myers, one of the top prospects in all of baseball, to Tampa Bay for Shields and this guy. And everyone's like, oh yeah, okay, Wade Davis, huh, who cares?
He was good as a reliever the year before, but it was almost like he had struggled as a starter, and then they were trying to figure out exactly what he was going to be. And he ended up being a lot more, I think, than anybody expected. And he's gotten to the point where he's become one of the more dominant relievers in the game. We've talked about some other guys earlier tonight. He's got great stuff, and he's got a full repertoire. I mean, he's the guy that used to start. You see the fastball there at 96 miles an hour. We talked earlier about Shane Green's cutter. This is a really good cutter from Wade Davis that'll sit around 92 miles an hour. And then the breaking ball, the one that he got to swing and miss on 2 pitches ago. I mean, these are not okay pitches. These are all excellent pitches. 3 of them that Wade Davis controls extremely well.
2-2 fouled away. Castellanos singled and scored back in the 7th. Has also flown out to center and grounded out to second base. Timeout asked for by Castellanos. One thing I love sitting here watching this game, we're looking out the D for the Tigers.
It's never changed.
Another foul ball.
The uniform has always remained the same. Tigers have not given in to any kind of marketing schemes. You see a lot of teams will start to kind of change. I should say schemes, and that's not the right way to say it. But a lot of teams will come up with different uniforms, and the idea, of course, that fans get excited and will buy more jerseys. But it is a classic look that has been here in Detroit for well over 100 years.
Good breaking ball, strikes out Castellanos for the first out here in the ninth.
Here's the plays of the game brought to you by Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Own the digital HD today or Blu-ray on Tuesday. And it's Eric Hosmer, what he did with the bat and then the legs. We saw the double early on in that first inning, scoring later. And then in the fifth inning, in a pretty big situation, runner on third base, infield drawn in, does a nice job hitting that ball to right field. Good game for the All-Star MVP, Eric Hosmer.
You know, it's funny, I asked him because he's so good defensively at first base. He's so much fun to watch over there. I was wondering who he grew up watching playing first base. And he said, Jason Giambi.
Really?
And I go, that was my reaction. I go, really? and he says, yeah. I go, defensively? He goes, oh, no. No, offensively. And I said, well, who'd you watch defensively? I said, because I grew up watching Don Mattingly, and I thought Mattingly was the best that I had seen. And I said, watching you, it's beautiful. I mean, the way you move at first base and everything. He said, honestly, I never focused on defense until I turned pro. He said, and once I turned pro, he said, Mike Jerschele, he gives him a lot of credit. He said, he's the one who worked with me. And he goes, I always thought it was my hands. He said, but Jerschele taught him it was about footwork.
Absolutely, especially at first base. There's a lot that you have to do over there. I mean, fielding ground balls, yes, about footwork, but also covering the bag in rush situations. You have to have really good feet, and your feet have to be comfortable around that bag. Pickoff plays, all of that stuff becomes extremely important. And you're right, he is one of the better defenders at first base that we have right now in the game. As we see Mike Jerschele there and the work that he has done, I'm sure something he is very proud of as he sees Eric Hosmer become the defensive first baseman that he has become, and also the really good hitter. I thought maybe we're going to go, maybe David Segui was one that he might have saw growing up, was really good defensively, but Jason Giambi, got a chance to play with him in New York, one of the great personalities of the game, great hitter. And I think Eric Hosmer has some of that. He seems like a guy who has a lot of fun. He loves being in the big leagues. He enjoys it, just like we talk about with Miguel Cabrera, and he wears that emotionally on his sleeve a lot, and that's a good thing that we see from him. But Jason was great, one of the best teammates you'll ever run across.
Aviles, little flare to shallow right on the outfield grass, making the run is Christian Colon, 2 away here in the ninth. The Tigers are down to their final out, and James McCann is the batter.
Not an ideal situation, been a rough night at the plate. 0-for-3 with 3 strikeouts for James McCann, and then you get Wade Davis in your final at bat. Not an ideal situation here for James McCann.
I thought it was great when we saw Brandon Inge in the clubhouse before the game, and he's talking about, you know, do you coach your kids? And he says no, but he's like, your kids, they don't think you know anything about the game. Ground ball to third base, this should do it. And he said, whenever I say something, goes, what do you know? You struck out to end the World Series. Well, James McCann didn't strike out, but he grounds out to end the ball game. And that'll do it as the Royals take this one by the score of 8-4. Last night it was 4-2 Tigers. Tonight it's 8-4 Royals. The rubber game of this 3-game series is tomorrow. You can catch the game on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Kansas City. For CJ Nitkowski, I am Justin Kutcher saying so long from Detroit. Let's go to LA and join Chris Myers in our studios.